Hi everyone, how have you all been? Apologies for that. As you can tell, I've been setting this live stream up, and it was very much last minute in terms of me setting this up. Reason being is because if you probably have noticed, I've been doing live streams quite consistently over the last few weeks on Sundays only. But tomorrow, I'm actually going to be going to watch Godzilla Minus One in theaters, if all goes to plan. But the plan is to go see it tomorrow. So, um, but yeah, basically, I've been very busy working today, and that's why I've not had as much time to set this up. So I had to quickly set this up last minute. But yeah, I'm gonna be seeing the movie tomorrow, and I'm gonna be watching it around the same time I usually start the live stream. So that's why I've decided to do the live stream a day early, so we can start talking about some of the topics. And also, a few days from now, I'm thinking of doing another live stream where I actually review Godzilla Minus One live in this format. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff coming. That'll be my first Toho Godzilla movie that I'll be seeing in theaters. Kidding Cell says, I think you will love it, Eric. Yeah, I hope so too, because I've heard a lot of great things about the characters. And that's usually the thing that puts me off when it comes to the majority of Godzilla movies, but I'm very curious to see the characters in this one. So, a lot of foreign movies in particular lately have been doing very good when it comes to characterizations, so I'm really interested to see that. And I asked my brother if he wanted to come too, and he said yeah. So, yeah, I'm genuinely looking forward to it. So, uh, SS says, can you make a versus video live too? I don't think you'll want me to do a versus video live. That won't be as interesting, I don't think. That's where I usually like to go back and forth, and I'm very, scripted with my points because I want to make sure I'm being concise. I don't know if it'll be interesting to do a live version of versus videos, but you guys can let me know if that's something you would want. But it doesn't sound like something that I think would be the best choice. But I'm open to ideas, and if enough people ask for it, I'll probably give it a go. One thing I'm gonna say to you guys, I'm gonna do it again. I posted it at the beginning of the stream. I'm gonna post it again. I'll just post it in the chat right now. Did it go through? There it is. This is supposed to be an alternative method where you guys can donate to me via, well, just rather than using super chats. Because like I said, YouTube take a percentage of those, whereas with this new method I found, it's through Streamlabs, something that pretty much all YouTubers use who live stream. By doing donations through that, I've got it in the description and I put it in the chat. YouTube, they will not take any of the cut from your donations this way. So this is the best way to donate if you want to donate to me on the stream. So yeah, if any of you do that, I will get a notification. Once I get the notification, I'll read whatever super chat you have. So if you got any super chats you want to place, post them and I will, like I said, read them. So I've got my phone right here for any time you guys put those super chats in, but not through super chats, but through the link I've put in and I've pinned in the chat. So I'll be very curious to see how that works. So hopefully if we can get at least one of those donations in so I can see if it goes through, that would be very good. Bear with me a second, I'll be right back. I just need to check on something before we get started with the stories I'm going to talk about. Alright, I'm back. I just went to go get my water bottle because my throat always gives out when I'm doing these streams. So, Kidding Selg says, who saw the Kung Fu Panda 4 trailer? I've not seen it yet, but I'm going to do a trailer reaction on my Patreon. Gregory Bronstein says, have you seen Chicken Run 2? What do you think of the new Wonka, and have you ever thought about making a Letterboxd account? Chicken Run 2, I've not seen it yet, but I do plan to see it very soon so I can get to work on the Versus video. Have I seen the new Wonka? No, I haven't. And have you ever thought about making a Letterboxd account? I've thought about it, but I've never quite just taken the swing and done it yet, so yeah. Okay, so everything seems to be in check. We'll get into the story that I'm going to talk about. Hi, Big Bash. Great to see all of you have come and joined the chat on the live stream. Batman's Gamer goes, I have a bunch of mixed feelings of the Kung Fu Panda 4 trailer. Hi, yeah, I can't comment on it yet because I've not seen it. I'm doing great, Big Bash, thanks. I hope you're doing well. Angelo goes, hi, Eric, you good? Yes, I'm very good. Let's see. Okay, so, disclaimer as always, when I'm doing this, whenever I'm covering these stories, you're going to have to wait if you want to ask any questions. If you want to ask questions while I'm telling these stories, you're going to have to either give a super chat and I'll answer your question immediately, or use the link I've pinned in the chat and donate to me that way. So all of your donation goes to me and none of it goes to YouTube. And when that happens, I will also get a notification on my phone and I will answer your question immediately through that as well. So those are the ground rules. I will glance at the chat, but I won't be answering any questions while I'm telling these stories. That way I can stay focused. But if you really do want to get your question in there, or if you just want to help support the channel, you've got those two methods of donating to the channel there and getting your question in very early. So, the first story is going to be James Gunn has talked about giving notes for Joker 2. So, James Gunn, as you all know, is taking control over the DCU and he's going to be rebooting, well, mostly rebooting the DC EU, and is going to be doing it with his way, with his own Superman, his own Batman, his own Wonder Woman, thankfully, and all that. And basically, by doing that, he's going to be monitoring all the movies, and he's going to be giving plenty of notes to filmmakers that make movies in his universe, because he's very much going to be molding this universe. So he wants their creative voices to come through. So he probably won't be as hands-on heavy as, say, how the MCU is, but don't think that means he's not going to try to have some control over his directors and the movies that he gets them to make, because this is all going to be building up to his universe and he still wants it in his sort of like image. So yeah, James Gunn though is on Threads, the social media platform Threads, where people started to ask him some questions. One of those questions was this. So someone says, you mentioned movies like The Batman and Joker are separate from the DCU. How much are you involved in these movies? Do you know what their stories are, or did you read the scripts? Love from Egypt. And he says this, Todd, meaning Todd Phillips, the director of Joker, had Joker in full swing by the time we came on board. I've watched and given notes, but it is mostly with Warner Brothers where it started. Everything forward in live action, we're involved with. Now, this is something that I found to be very interesting. He's not giving, like, direct answers, like specific answers about certain things, but it did leave it a little bit open. So, for example, when he goes, I've watched the movie and given it notes, makes me think, are those notes where he's just giving feedback, or are these notes where he's like, okay, as the CEO of DC, you need to go out there and do these notes that I've given you. That is the thing that I'm wondering, and that is the thing that scares me. Now, James Gunn, he's got plenty of movies to give notes to in the future. All the movies under his DCU universe, he can be giving as many notes to those as he wants. But these separate movies, I want them to feel different. I don't want those to feel like they are also being monitored by the same person doing the DCU. So he can give them notes, but I hope that the directors that he's giving these notes to, like Todd Phillips, choose if they want to follow those notes or not. That's what I really hope, and that's what I really believe. Now, it doesn't mean that he is forcing those notes, but like I said, he's not giving a specific answer, so that's one of the things you can take away from his answer that he gave about that. Because James Gunn, he's very good with the movies he makes, but they're a very particular style. They're very comic booky, but they're also very jokey, but they can be very drama heavy. That's what I liked about his more recent movies. That's why I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But I like how Joker felt so different and it was its own thing. Like, I am perfectly open to James Gunn monitoring, giving notes to his upcoming DCU movies, but I don't want him to put a finger on the Elseworld projects. Let those be run by the filmmakers, and you have very talented filmmakers with those Elseworld movies. You got Todd Phillips from Joker and Matt Reeves from The Batman. So I don't want James Gunn even touching their movies because I'm very curious and I really do enjoy what they are able to bring to their projects. But I don't want James Gunn, someone who's like a completely different kind of filmmaker, to come in and say, I'm going to start giving notes to these. Giving notes is fine, but I hope those filmmakers have full creative freedom to take them or leave them. And I would prefer if they could just leave them, honestly. I don't want James Gunn giving any notes to Joker 2 or Matt Reeves' Batman stuff. Because if he wants to do his own version of Joker, he's got his DCU. If he wants to do his own Batman, he's got his own DCU. I like how you have other skilled directors here giving their interpretations, and that's the whole benefit of Elseworld. So I hope he leaves them to it. I don't want the non-DCU stuff to have James Gunn's fingerprints on them, if you know what I mean. I want them to be as different as possible. And if you look at some of the notes so far, this is not something that I'm accounting him for, like, full stop. But it is on my mind. I really hope that he doesn't start making more choices like he did when he gave notes to the Flash movie. Because if you remember with the Flash movie, he came up with a decision to put George Clooney at the end of the Flash, which proved to be such a stupid creative choice, and it's one that's just been mocked and memed at this point. So I don't really know if we can trust notes from James Gunn when it comes to other directors and other superhero projects that are very different in style to his, such as Joker and the Batman. So I hope he stays away from those. He has a lot of work to do with his DCU, so I hope he keeps his focus on that and stays away from the other filmmakers, who, honestly, the other filmmakers, particularly Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips here, I think they have made better comic book projects than James Gunn has. For example, I think The Batman and Joker are better than any of the superhero projects that James Gunn has made. So, and keep in mind, I liked a lot of the ones he's done, and I'm still rooting for him. But I like the idea that he has his DCU that we can say, alright, go ahead and start doing stuff there. And I like we have this completely separate realm, the Elseworld. And I don't want him coming in. I don't have that kind of faith in him where I think, yeah, you can give notes to the Batman. Yeah, you can give notes to Todd Phillips' Joker. I don't have that kind of confidence in him. I like how those filmmakers have put their own stamp on it. I don't want James Gunn coming in now and start changing those things. So, his style is just very different, and I like them being separate. So, what have you guys got to say about that? James Gunn potentially having control over these other non-DCU movies. Let's see. Jacinda says, I freaking can't wait until the new DCU. Big Bash goes, Killer Croc in this universe is who I'm looking forward to most for his Batman. Yes, that would be very interesting. Adam Grunther, hi buddy, says, I trust him. He's never steered us wrong before. Plus, every director gets notes from the higher-ups. Todd doesn't have to follow the notes unless it's mandated. That's the very good point that you made, and that's exactly what I said that I was hoping. I hope the notes are, you can take them or leave them. Like, I'm not forcing these on you. Yeah, like you said, mandate. They're not mandated. Then I'll be fine. It's fine if James Gunn wants to give notes, but I hope those directors, and they do seem like they've got their very own specific visions, and I'm very certain they'll be like, yeah, we're gonna keep the movies the way we want to make them. I'm sure they're not going to take his notes, but I hope they're not mandated notes. As you said, Adam Grunther, I really, really hope that's not the case. Big Bash goes, he'll probably give creative control to the directors. I hope so. Gregory goes, can someone re-ask my question with a super chat? It's not that I'm greedy, I just don't do super chats because I'm a kid. That's okay. If you can't do the super chats, that's fine. Just answer them and I'll eventually try to get to them. But super chats, like I said, they always do help, and they help support the channel and everything, and I really do appreciate those. And the Streamlabs thing, donating through that, where YouTube gets no cut, that is something I want to test trial to see if it works for you guys, so that's why I've also got that there too. So, Adam Grunther goes, I can't say Joker is better than his movies. Take out Gotham and the Wayne family, and nothing makes it a comic book movie. Yeah, but that's what I found it so, you know, enthralling. I found it really, really fun for that very reason. It was because sometimes you just don't want the typical comic book movie, so if you can twist the genre and find a way to really make it your own, that is something that I always really appreciate. So Joker came in at the right time when we really wanted that. Matt Reeves, not Matt Reeves, although he's done it too, but Christopher Nolan did the same thing with his Batman movies. So that very much is the case. Adam Grunther has given a $5 super chat. Thanks very much, buddy. Let me just write that down. Now, Adam Grunther goes, since this is a James Gunn heavy video, which villain from his DC projects did you prefer, Starro or the Butterflies? I would say the Butterflies. They just seem more creepy and more like Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of thing. More so than than Starro did, who had a similar thing, but I thought those butterflies, the way they just got into people's mouths and they start coughing up blood and stuff, I just thought that was just such an image. That was a very creative and fun thing that he did. Yeah, so thanks Adam Grunther for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Gregory goes, is Guardians of the Galaxy 3 still a 7 out of 10? Is that how much I gave it? If it is what I gave it, then yeah. I think I gave it a high 7 out of 10, didn't I? Yes, if it was that, I would still say that is the score I give it. Hunter Johnson says, I have faith in James Gunn, but some of the decisions he's making are making him look bad by keeping his version of the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. That did not look very good, because at this point people are just tired of the remains that the Snyderverse version of DC has left behind. They're also tired of the ones that Warner Brothers have twisted it, and, you know, all the different regimes of Warner Brothers that have come in. People are just tired of seeing those same characters go through so many different regimes, to the point that now it's like, yeah, just give it a full-on reboot. So a lot of people are in that camp, and I do agree. I personally did not like when I heard that he's going to keep a lot of them. If he wants to keep a couple, there's an argument you could be made, like Peacemaker, I hope he keeps. But I don't want to see Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn again. I want them to start again with that, because they rushed Harley Quinn from the very beginning by having her leave Joker, whereas the whole appeal of her character for the majority of people was that she was in an abusive relationship with Joker. That is supposed to be the thing that really hooked people, and you didn't know if you could feel sorry for her or you should hate her because she did a lot of evil things. It was this constant back and forth, and that's what made their character, their interaction. But they tried to have her leave them, and I was like, that was all kinds of wrong choice. That was the worst possible choice they could have done. Not that it's a bad idea, but it's the fact that you need a journey to go there. You can't just do it like that and say, that's it, that whole Joker and Harley era, done. And we didn't even get to see it either, really, so yeah. Okay, so there's another bit that I wanted to add about this, and this is a little tweet about Matt Reeves. Someone says, what about the Batman 2? Have you read any drafts or heard of any developments? And he goes, I heard a pitch, no script yet. So that tells you that Matt Reeves is still writing the script, which I like. It shows that he's still taking his time. The writer's strike happened too, but I still think that in the writer's strike he stayed quiet about it, but he still continued to write the script. I'm very certain that's what happened. He very quietly continued to write it. I've got no proof of that, but that's my thought process on the matter. And James Gunn says that he's heard the pitch, and apparently he's even spoken to Matt Reeves as to what Matt Reeves kind of wants to do with his. That's okay, Elite. It's alright if you're late. You're here now, so that's all that matters. I like the fact that Matt Reeves basically gave him a description of what he wanted to do, and I hope James Gunn just leaves him to it, because I don't want Peter Safran or James Gunn to be attached to those at all. So yeah, that's the story with James Gunn, and something that I kind of took from what he said about Joker 2. So Yeah, so what do you guys think about that? So, do you guys want James Gunn to have an input on the Elseworld DC stories, like say Matt Reeves Batman, for example, or Joker 2? Do you want him to have like like control over that? Arathorn999 goes no. Phil McCrack says no. Big Bash goes nope. Akinwale goes, what did I miss? What we were talking about. Polar says no. George Phillips goes 100% no. That's kind of what I thought. Even I would say no. I don't want... Rowan says no as well. Yeah, I don't want it either. Elite even says no. Batman's Gamer says no. A lot of people saying no. Chili Dog Vendor goes, I'm the first 50-50. Yeah. Where is it? Where was that question of yours? Where was that question? Where one of you goes, what did I miss? Oh, there you go. Akinwale said, what did I miss? Yeah, we were just talking about James Gunn and his message that he wrote, where he talks about that he gave Joker 2 notes to Todd Phillips. And I was basically talking about, I hope those notes are just advice, and it's not mandated notes where he's ordering them, go do these reshoots and fix these things that I want you to fix. I was saying basically I hope that's not the case. I do not want that. I don't want James Gunn to be doing that. And looking at the chat, looks like a lot of you guys say the same thing. I've always said James Gunn, he's got plenty of these movies coming up that he's managing. And with those, he can do whatever he wants. He can do the notes, give directors notes and everything, but I don't want him to give these projects notes. And these projects have nothing to do with his overall DC universe, so he has really, no reason to be coming in and giving notes to these. Hunter Johnson goes, what if we got Ben Affleck's Batman movie? It sounds like it could have been interesting, but it also sounds like with some of the deaths they were going to do, it also sounded like it would have been rushed to get there at that point. Adam Grunther goes, if he knows what he's doing, it depends. You don't want a complete mess with these movies. If Bane is the villain of one Batman movie in the DCU while Reeves is doing the same, I wouldn't want that. That's exactly true. Matt Reeves did talk about several months ago now. He says that when that he's got a meeting, he said, that he had with James Gunn, and this is just so they can all get on the same page, so they can basically find out, basically not repeat the same story that the other one is telling. So Matt Reeves did talk about that. So I agree with that. But I hope, like I said, I hope he doesn't just start saying make these changes, because I don't want all of DC to become the James Gunn show. I like these separate projects. So... yeah, anyone else got anything else to say about that before we move on to the next story? Gregory Bronstein says, I don't even want suggestions from him, whether they are mandatory or not. Don't even try to change anything. Yeah, I don't mind if he does that in his DCU because he has to manage that. I just hope he doesn't make it a mess, like, say, how Disney give notes to their directors. So I don't mind him giving notes there. I do mind, though, when he gives notes to Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips, like I said, because those are completely separate. So I hope he stays off of those. That way we get a very varying kind of, style and not just the same thing that James Gunn is doing. Because... once you start giving notes, you can always tell when a note contradicts the choices that a creative director makes. So if Matt Reeves has very specific choices, you can tell they're going to be very different to what James Gunn does. The same with what Todd Phillips does. And if James Gunn told him to do stuff, it would also be very different. You can just tell when different directors are clashing creatively, and I hope that doesn't happen. George Phillips says he's got his own thing, he's got his own things, apply his notes to his stuff, not to others. I couldn't agree more. Batman's Gamer goes, I hope Jason Momoa gets Lobo role. I heard it's his dream role. Oh, he's pretty much going to get the Lobo role at this point, so don't worry about that. And we've also got another $5 super chat from Adam Grunther. Thanks very much, buddy. I really appreciate the super chat. Who was worse for you, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor or Jared Leto as Joker? Ooh, that is a very good question. Um. Hi, Jess. I'm doing good. That is a very difficult question. I'll say Jared Leto as Joker because Jesse Eisenberg did a terrible job as Lex Luthor, but I feel like that's kind of the Lex Luthor he was told to do. I feel like if he had a director that actually cared, that director would do. I think would do a better job. If the director cared to give the actual traditional Lex Luthor, then it would. I could imagine he would do a better job. But I don't know. I'm looking at him and I just see Zack Snyder didn't really care when I look at that. Or maybe he cared in his way, but he just didn't have a passion for Lex Luthor. That's why he tried to change it so much. So drastically, to the point you couldn't even recognize him. I prank my teacher, please stop spamming, okay? This is too far. Even I'm very lenient when it comes to spamming, but for me as well, this is too much. So please don't do that anymore. I'll answer your question in a second. So, yeah, I would say that with Jesse Eisenberg, there is a way, I believe, that he could have done a better job. Jared Leto was just out of his freaking mind. He just seemed to be so high on himself, and he thought, I'm going to try to get a lot of attention, and I'm going to outdo Heath Ledger in terms of how involved I get in this role and everything. It kind of felt like he had a bit of an ego thing going on. And honestly, with the amount of roles I've seen him in, he's not as great an actor as people said. It's the same thing with Brie Larson, and people are like, oh, Brie Larson really is a great actress. And it's like, okay, before I was like, alright, I'll believe you, I just haven't seen her stuff. But now I've seen quite a few of both of their stuff, and they're not great actors from what I'm seeing. So, yeah, that's... To me, I'm like, I just don't see that what other people saw in them. But yeah, his Joker was just pathetic. It was embarrassing. Truly embarrassing. Iron Warrior, $5 super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate it. Like I also said, the Streamlabs link I put there, when you do donations through that, YouTube will not get any of your super chats. So I hope one person can test that out for me to see if it works, because I've done alternate donation stuff in the past, and it wouldn't donate from your country for some reason in countries that quite a few of you are from. So I hope at least one person can try that, just so I can see if it works, so I can continue to implement it, or if I should just scrap it. But anyway, Iron Warrior goes, nice to see you streaming. Oh, that's always nice to see you guys dropping by when I stream. Glad you watched Godzilla Minus One. Thoughts? I haven't seen it yet. I said at the beginning of the stream I'm going to watch it tomorrow. So we'll be having a bit of a conversation about it, like as a build-up to me seeing it, but I've not seen it yet. But I will be seeing it tomorrow if all goes to plan. So, number 2, what did you think of Ezra from Ahsoka? Kind of reminds me of you, lol. Does he remind you of me? That's surprising. I'd be curious how he reminds you of me. I thought he was very good. He was like the first person I saw where I was like, wow, it looks like they really got someone that looks just like him. Actually, no, that's not true. I thought Sabine, they also did a very good job casting her to find someone that looked just like her. But, yeah, the guy that did Ezra, when I saw him, I was like, I instantly see Ezra there, even though his hair wasn't blue. It's like what they just did to him. I saw Ezra there. It was like literally a live-action version of Ezra, so that was fantastic. So I thought that he did a great job. We just need to see more episodes, I thought. Now, I prank my teacher. When you were spamming, you asked a question. Will there be an Oppenheimer 2? No, there will not. The only sequels that Christopher Nolan has done are his Batman movies, but he's not done any other sequels, and I don't think he's going to do a sequel with Oppenheimer 2, because what other story is there to tell at that point? So yeah, that's just a standalone movie. Adam Grunther says, I don't know how Eisenberg behaved behind the scenes, but I at least know that Leto was worse in that area. Yep, that's what I meant when I said that his, he was just nuts. Just crazy. So, yeah, for sure. Gregory Bronstein says, what would be your top 4 on Letterboxd if you had one? Well, my top 4, I don't know my top 4, but I know my top 2. It's The Dark Knight and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, because I really loved that movie. But I don't know the others. I've never really planned it or thought it, or looked, I thought about it briefly, but I was always struggling to put something on those lists. Jess goes, Eric, are you going to see Aquaman 2 next Friday? It's this upcoming Friday, I think now, isn't it? I don't know if I'll see it on Friday, but yes, I am going to see it, and I've got a free ticket stored somewhere in one of my drawers over here. So I'll watch it for free with that, because I'm not going to pay for that movie. Okay. Big Bash goes, are you going to watch and review Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Yes, I will, because I'm really looking forward to that. Well, I'm not looking forward to it. I normally would, but because it's coming from Disney, and they've got a very bad quality control, especially when it comes to franchises, I'm very reserved. But otherwise, if it wasn't them, I would be looking forward to it. But when you get older, it's like you just start to know about directors and writers, and then you start accounting movies based on that, and then you look at studios and their involvement. But sometimes you just kind of wish you could just have that same childlike excitement when you were like, oh, this movie is coming out, I can't wait to see it. But when you're older, you know better now. So Jess says, I'm going to see Aquaman 2 when it comes out on digital so I can watch it on my 4K TV. Yeah, my choice would have been to watch it on my 4K projector. But because I normally do videos for you guys and stuff, I'm going to have to see it in theaters. Let's see. Isn't 20th Century a different branch from regular Disney? Yeah, but Disney have now still put in their own people, you know. So they start putting in their own mandates. The studio has to... If you look at Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm, they all have very similar problems in terms of how much they're pumping too much content out. They were getting political in ways. They were making an enemy of their fan base. The quality control went down. There was like so many problems, and they all kind of like match the problems that they have. It's like a system-wide problem within Disney, and now that they own Fox, that's also going to have another problem. I think it's going to be part of it, have the same problems. So that's why I fear for that Planet of the Apes movie basically being on that. I really fear for that. Let's see. Sad Blue Robot, have you watched Transformers Rise of the Beasts? Yes, I have. I didn't really like it, to be honest with you. It was nothing special. The effects were terrible. I actually went back to look at the first movie, and the effects in the first Transformers movie look so much better than the effects in the Rise of the Beasts. Even the green screen was better in the first Transformers movie, and the Transformers looked like there was more passion behind their transforming effects and everything. Not anymore. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second story. And the second story is going to be about Maxwell Lord. Who's Maxwell Lord? Some of you might find that name familiar. A lot of you might already know who that is. It was this guy from Wonder Woman 1984. But before we go more into him, Iron Warrior left another super chat. $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that, buddy. Again, I really appreciate the support. You guys really are the lifeline for my channel, so I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Iron Warrior. I enjoyed the Bad Batch Season 2 more than 1. I would love to hear your thoughts on Episode 11 with Crosshair and Mayfield out on the snow planet. A sad one. Yes. Crosshair had the most darkest and I would say adult character arc in that show. And this is not new to the Bad Batch. The Clone Wars also was very good when it came to these kind of like very adult character arcs, especially for the clones. And yeah, what they did in that episode, not just that episode, but the episode where it was him and Commander Cody teaming up. That episode was amazing and dark, and the music they put in that seemed like something that was from like some sort of like dark, twisted thriller. It was really amazing what they did with that episode. But yeah, the one with Crosshair and Mayfield out on the snow planet, that was a sad one, and it was a tragic one. And it culminated very well with what Crosshair did at the end of the episode. It was fantastic, and it really was one of the best character arcs I'd seen. In fact, I was actually thinking if I had to give Best Movie of the Year award, I would just combine that first episode with him and Commander Cody, and the second episode with Crosshair and Mayfield, combine them together and say that's the best movie of 2023. Because it was fantastic. 10 out of 10, both of those episodes to me. And it's like it doesn't care that it's an animation. It was doing some really adult stuff, some dark stuff. Alright, so let's get back to this story. So, Maxwell Lord. Now, Maxwell Lord was a character that was in Wonder Woman 1984, an absolutely terrible movie that has only gotten worse with time. And Pedro Pascal actually played Maxwell Lord. This is as he was on the come up, like he was starting to show up in more stuff. And he was good in it, but his character was very poorly written. And as talented as an actor as he just was not good in the movie, and that was really down to the writing. His character, I thought, was just all kinds of terrible. And that was all down to Patty Jenkins, who wrote it, and she fired Zack Snyder's team, who wrote the first Wonder Woman movie, and even helped put the style of that movie together. She fired all of them and then did her new one, and she wrote it, and you could see that her coming in, writing everything, was the problem. And she wanted to get credit for writing the first movie, even though she only gave ideas, but a couple of other guys, they wrote the whole script. She wanted to get credit for it. They were not giving it. She tried to escalate it. She didn't get credit for it because they'd said, well, you didn't write it, so no, you don't get a writer's credit, which is apparently what she really wanted. So then when Wonder Woman 1 did incredibly well, and she had more carte blanche to do whatever she wanted, she fired those two writers and a lot of Zack Snyder's team and brought in her own team, and she wrote the script herself. And then you can see how crap Wonder Woman 1984 was, and you can just tell that, yeah, you probably didn't have anything to do with the writing of the first movie, because none of that greatness that was in that first movie came into the second one. Terrible, terrible, terrible movie. That's alright, Drake Holly, I'm glad you're here. Any questions, as always, like I said, I'm going to be focusing on this story now, but the super chats are there. If you don't want to do the super chats, then just stay tuned and wait, and I will answer your question later on in the stream. Adam Grunther said something which is very interesting. I'll quickly describe it. James Gunn is doing the pre-crisis version of Max Lord, who was more of an aloof ally. By aloof, do you mean a comedic ally? Like he's a bit of a goofball. I think it could work. Is it nepotism? Maybe, but Sean Gunn is a genuinely good actor. You're actually jumping ahead of me there. That's exactly what I was going to talk about right now. Now, Maxwell Lord was played by, like I said, Pedro Pascal in that first movie. And I didn't have a problem with casting Pedro Pascal. I think that you could, if you wrote the character better, it could work. But James Gunn, apparently he's said that he's going to be also doing Maxwell Lord, and he's cast someone already. And the person he's cast is his brother, Sean Gunn, as Maxwell Lord. And here's another image as well, and you can see Maxwell Lord behind him in both of these. Now, a lot of people were saying this is nepotism. That's the reason why James Gunn is hiring his brother, Sean Gunn, to play this character. Now, I knew James Gunn was going to bring his brother into this DC universe. I think we all knew that was a pretty solid bet. But I kind of expected him to give him a role that I could see him in. His brother is talented, but despite being in those Guardians movies, he's never really been picked up to be in anything else really noteworthy, like something that is like really in the spotlight for the mainstream audience to see him in. And what we have seen him in, I don't look at him and think that he could do a good Maxwell Lord. But that being said, I don't really know much about a Maxwell Lord. Yeah, so to me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, just looking at his face, looking at his interviews that I've seen him in over the years, I don't know. It just doesn't look like, when I look at that comic book picture of that Maxwell Lord there, and then I look at Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984, who had Pedro Pascal, and then when I see this, honestly, the images, they just don't seem to naturally connect to me. I look at this and I just see miscasting. Now, people said, like what Adam Grunther just said, is that James Gunn, I remember seeing, he did hint that he always saw Maxwell Lord, like he always enjoyed the version of the character that was a good guy. And like you said here, like he was aloof is what Adam Grunther says, which is also what he said. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm just seeing a lot of jokey characters being introduced. Because we have Guy Gardner who's coming in, and he's going to be played by Nathan Fillion. And he's going to be the Green Lantern in the new Superman movie, one of the many new superheroes coming into that film. And that's also meant to be a more comedic Green Lantern. So the only thing that kind of concerns me is that James Gunn is making a lot of comedic choices, and that's the thing that scared me the most. And I'm not seeing enough stuff where I'm like, alright, he's made a very freaky choice here. He's cast someone scary or anything. I'm just kind of looking, I'm seeing a lot of comedic choices. or choice. Oh, Adam Grunther meaning aloof, meaning untrustworthy. Okay, that's cool. So he's some kind of anti-hero. I'm just not seeing a choice right now where I'm like, wow, James Gunn is like doing something he's not normally done. We have to wait longer for that, I think. But I hope he doesn't go about doing more goofy characters. I hope if he gives his brother this role, we can see his brother being more serious, because in Guardians he was really quite dumb. They gave him a bit more capital in the third movie, made him a bit more competent, which I liked. But if he's going to bring his brother in, don't make him another idiot. I want to see a different kind of character. And so that's basically what I think. Do I think he's miscast? Completely. Am I giving up faith on James Gunn? No, I'm not giving up faith on him for casting his brother in this. We'll have to see what version they're going to try to do. But I feel like with a lot of the stuff we're seeing from James Gunn, I really need to see him do some more serious choices. We'll probably have to wait to see that. But I'm really kind of tired of seeing like these comedic choices. Guy Gardner, and then there's like other people in there and stuff. I want to see more of a... I want to see someone who like really like go swing for the fences. And the stuff I'm seeing James Gunn do so far is stuff I would expect from James Gunn. Nothing in there that's blown me away yet. So I need to wait and see. But those are my thoughts. I think this is miscasting. But at the same time, I am willing to see what version of the character he's trying to do. So those are my thoughts on it. Adam Grunther says, Sean Gunn performed Rocket physically. Yeah, I'm aware of that. He did a very good job with that. Bradley Cooper may have done the voice, but all of Rocket's physical movements came from Sean. It's also his facial expressions that came from him as well. So yeah, he is a very good actor in that way. But it's like, is James Gunn going to use him for that? Because yeah, he used him for that for Rocket, but for the characters that he's made, Sean Gunn has been in. He's been in Guardians of the Galaxy movies as Yondu's right hand. And he's also been in the Suicide Squad, where he played that dying-looking hamster, whatever, that didn't do anything in the end in that movie. And he always like gives him these very goofy roles. I hope if he gives him this, he makes it dignified, I hope. I want to see Sean Gunn show me a side that I've not seen before. If James Gunn is coming over to DC, we need to see another side to him. And one of the stuff I want to see is I don't want to see the people that he usually casts in the same ballpark role that he cast them in. I don't want to see his brother playing another goofball. Make him play someone who's got dignity. Don't give him stupid jokes. Let's see that side of him. That's what I think. And Batman's Gamer, who's done a $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that, Bunny. Appreciate that. Yes, this is something we should also talk about. You know, Zachary Levi called out this casting. Yes, he did. I actually saw the interview. Now, it sounded worse when you read it. When you read what Zachary Levi said, it sounded very bad. But if you look at the interview, it didn't seem as bad as it did in writing. But that being said, let me bring up the quote of what he said. He goes... When he was reminded that Gunn's brother Sean would be playing Maxwell Lord in the future, and he also found out that he played Calendar Man and Weasel in the Suicide Squad. I forgot he played the Calendar Man. I can't even remember about Calendar Man. I got to look at that again. But when he basically said, when the interviewer said that to Zachary Levi, Zachary goes, "Listen, when you're the brother of the guy who runs DC, I guess you get to play whatever you want." Like he said it like under his breath, like he was just like a throwaway comment. But it sounds like he was expressing his actual feelings, and those were not things that you want to say. When he said that, it actually spread around, and it did not sound good for Zachary Levi. It's just one of the many other things that he seems to be saying that's getting him in trouble, or kind of like tainting his image, and he's doing it to himself is what he's doing. You can't really blame anyone but himself for what he's doing. So, yeah, he basically says that... He might as well have said nepotism at that point. But, yeah, it makes me wonder. I think Zachary Levi thinks that he's not coming to the DCU, which is why he's acting like this. Because if he was going to have secured another job in the DCU, then he will be like Jason Momoa. When Jason Momoa was saying, yeah, this will probably be my last role as Aquaman, but he's not sweating any bullets over it. Unlike Zachary Levi, who looks like he's always going through these breakdowns, like when he talked about Dwayne Johnson. I'm not saying I disagree with what he said about Dwayne Johnson, because Dwayne Johnson had a big freaking fat ego on his head when he was doing Black Adam, and he was trying to make it out like Black Adam was like the next best thing in the whole of the DC universe. Like, I really did not like when he was doing that, and he just threw off Shazam like it was nothing, even though Shazam is meant to be his main villain. He was like, no, Superman. Dwayne Johnson had a real ego when it came to the DC universe. I'm glad that it's not worked out for him in that way, but Zachary Levi said a lot of things about him, things that I essentially agree with, but the way he said it, he's not going to make any friends in the industry that way. That's kind of him crumbling. Dwayne Johnson will still get other roles, but I don't think Zachary Levi will be getting other roles when he was making a scene like that. And there was another video where he was kind of crumbling, and you could tell he was kind of breaking down, trying to convince people to go watch Shazam 2, because he knew it was going to be a flop. And he was saying, yeah, John Wick 4, that's going to do great, but how about you also go for this if you want to see a more family movie? He was really kind of like just crumbling, is what it seemed like. And yeah, this thing that he's doing, this is not helping him out. It's not making him look good. Parker CS says Joker 2 might be in trouble, James and his studio interference. I hope he doesn't. That's what I said. I said the notes that he's giving, you probably weren't here during that part of the live stream. I said the notes he's giving, I hope they're take it or leave it, meaning that you can... they're not mandated choices where you have to apply these notes to the movie through reshoots or changing of editing or anything like that. I said I hope it's not that. I hope he's just given friendly notes, but that's it. That's what I hope goes on with those movies. The Chili Dog Vendor goes, man, actor and celebrity drama give me a headache. Yeah, that's just kind of the crazy thing that we're in right now. So it is kind of funny, isn't it, how this stuff with actors and stuff have kind of... I see what you mean. They have kind of become that way when it comes to their drama. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Sean Gunn being hired as Maxwell Lord. I definitely think there is some nepotism in there. But I'll pass it over to you guys. What do you think? Francisco Rajas goes, didn't Gunn said that he wasn't going to interfere with DC Elseworlds? That's what I heard as well, yeah. Let's hope he stays out of it. Because the other directors that are in DC Elseworlds right now are very talented, and I would trust them to make their own great movie. James Gunn going in there is a place where it's like, you don't even need to be there. You've got a lot of things to do now with your DCU, so pay your attention to that, but leave the others out. Parker CS goes, sell Lucasfilm back to George Lucas. I would hope that would happen too, but I don't know at this point. It's taking a while, but then again, these things do take a while, don't they? So let's see. Big Bash goes, I don't care about celebrities, I just live my life. Yeah, the same. Rohan says, I'm still excited for Welcome to Derry, but is the screen time for Pennywise I'm worried about without Bill Skarsgård? Well, we'll see what happens. They showed a little bit of extra footage from the Penguin show in a new Max trailer that happened. You know, Max, where they're trying to advertise what's coming out in 2024, 2025. The Derry show, they showed a little footage from that as well, the Welcome to Derry. And 2024, we're going to get the Penguin show, apparently. And 2025, we're going to get the Welcome to Derry show. So, yeah, interesting stuff. King of the Monsters 2021 goes, anyone here excited for Rebel Moon? I've heard a lot of bad things about Rebel Moon, but we'll see what the movie's like. Jess says, Eric, watch Cinematic Universe. This bloody thing is in the way of the chat box. I can't see it. What you're saying. There you go. Eric, which cinematic universe do you prefer the most? Well, Marvel had a better cinematic universe at first, didn't they? But not anymore, so I don't think there's any superhero universe that I prefer. King of the Monsters 2021 goes, my excitement dropped with the influx of negative reviews. Oh, for Zack Snyder's new movie. Yeah, Rebel Moon. Yeah, it does look like his kind of thing. Hi, Eric, just joined the stream, says Randinu. That's good. I'm glad to see that you've that you dropped in. Jess says, don't hate on a Zack Snyder, everyone. Not everyone's hating, but you gotta know, not every filmmaker is gonna have a hit every single time. Let's see. I hear there's not even much action in the movie, is what I've heard as well. Parker CS says, don't trust negative critic reviews. I don't trust them, but it's not a good sign. But we'll wait and see what happens. Anyway. Angelo says, do you remember me from the streams? Yes, this time I do. I said I'll remember you next time, and now I do. So yes, I definitely remember you from the streams. Batman's Gamer says, Zack has hit flop after flop with DC. He kind of has, hasn't he? His only good one was Zack Snyder's Justice League, the one that I really enjoyed. I give it a 9 out of 10. Parker CS says, Vecna in Stranger Things Season 4 is a generic bland villain. I actually liked that villain, I did. Trevor Bistro goes, Godzilla Minus One, can't wait to hear your thoughts. Yeah, I'm curious to hear my own thoughts too. I'm genuinely curious to see how the movie is. Jess goes, Rebel Moon is at least better than Kathleen Kennedy female Star Wars movies and shows. Well, we don't know until we see it, do we? But I would hope it would be. But anyway. Okay, so now it's time to talk about the next thing. Godzilla Minus One. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let you guys say things to me about the movie. I've not seen the movie yet. I am going to see it. But this is the point where you can give me spoiler-free stuff and tell me, you know, like what you thought of the movie, what you think I will think of the movie, if you think I'll like it, if you think I'll like the characters, if you think I won't like the characters. It's time for you to sound off and I'll read what you think I'm going to think. Parker CS goes, no spoilers. Yeah, no spoilers, please, because I've not seen the movie yet. I'm going to see it tomorrow, but it's your turn to hype me up, but not hype me up too much, because we all know that can be, you know, put people off of movies sometimes. No goes, don't have much to say besides amazing movie. Well, that's great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Did you watch it twice, or was that someone else? I heard it was great. I saw it 2 days ago, says Parker CS. Batman's Gamer says, I heard Godzilla Minus One was a $15 million budget, and the VFX artists were also treated like crap. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they were treated like crap too. It's a shame, isn't it? Maybe the budget is so low because they're so underpaid. Someone also implied that the budget was even less than 15 million as well, because the director said, I wish it was that much. So yeah. Jess goes, it looks good, Eric, better than the Hollywood Godzilla. Yeah, that's what it seems like based on what people say. George Phillips says, I haven't seen it yet. Well, let's hope. I'll report back and then I'll say whether I think the rest of you should go see it too. Big Boy Yum Yum says, I've seen it, and when Godzilla first appears, I genuinely was frightened. Cool. I hope I can get frightened by him too when he shows up. Big Boy Yum Yum, that's such a cool username. It's so funny and fun to say. I've never seen you on the stream before. Unless you're someone that has already been on the streams before, but you're just changed your username like some I've done before. Whoa, Batman's Gamer goes, $1 per hour in Japan as a pay in VFX. Wow, that is shocking. I don't know what their currency is like down there, but that does not sound good. I got nothing to say because I have not seen the film, says Elite. Well, that's okay. Like I said, I'll let you guys know if you should see it, for those that haven't. King of the Monsters 2021 says, I saw it with my friends. You will like the characters, and the visual effects are impeccable. On a budget or less than 15 million, it's comparable with the Monsterverse movies. That is very, very good, because I've heard some people say that Godzilla's not in the movie much. So tell me about that. Is he not in the movie much in the grand scheme of things? Because I forgot how long the movie even was. Toho can do better than Hollywood. Well, it seems like a lot of people can do better than Hollywood now. My friend saw it and he liked it, says Big Bash. Okay, that's good. That's all I've heard from people. I've not heard anyone say it's bad. Jess says, I'm waiting for the digital release of Godzilla Minus One. He's terrifying, and a presence like Michael Myers as Parker CS. That's interesting. Batman's Gamer, I haven't seen it. I give my opinions if the budget is worth it, and what they did in production. I do my homework. King of the Monsters 2021 says, he has a screen time of around, is that 13 to 14 minutes? It makes that great use of screen time. Well, that's good if they make great use of it. Batman's Gamer goes, and I do my research. That's great. Rohan, I heard some good things about the movie, but never seen it. Yeah, I've not seen it either until tomorrow when I will be seeing it. Eric, after you watch Godzilla Minus One, will you do a quick movie review? I've actually been thinking of doing a live stream review, and then you guys can ask me questions live, and we can talk about the movie that way. That's what I'm thinking. Trevor Bristow goes, I've seen it twice and now wanted to see it a third time with my dad. The best Godzilla movie that I've seen in a long time since the 1954 classic. One of my favourite movies of the year. That's great to hear. Rohan says, and I'm about to go to Cancun in about 4 days. After that, I'm going to see Aquaman 2 on the 26th of December. Okay, cool. Big Boy Yum Yum says, don't think this is a spoiler, but Godzilla is barely in the film for like the second act, but the human characters are well developed, so I don't really mind. That's not a spoiler. And, cool. If they're well developed that much, they can hold up the movie on their own. That's great. But that's my biggest concern going in, is I hope that the characters are great. Orangutan says, Godzilla Minus One, I think you will love it. The characters are likable and you root for them. I saw it 3 hours ago. It's basically Godzilla 2014, but good. 10 out of 10. Do a versus video with 1954 film. I'll think about it. I need to see it first and then see what versus video comes to my mind. Big Bash goes, Eric, I think a good series would be you rewriting movies you think should be improved. Yeah, that would be a good idea. That would also take way too long. It would be hard to get any other videos out. So I could probably talk about that. I always, in my versus videos, I always give... When I think I can rewrite a version of a story, I'll always say this is what they should have done. And that's what I'll normally do. I do that in the Spider-Man 1 vs. Spider-Man 2 game versus video that I'm working on. I say what they should have done with one aspect in Spider-Man 2 with regards to the symbiote storyline. Trevor says, is it coming out in your area, Eric? It has, and it's opened up a few more screen times, but they're so random. They keep changing from day to day, which is so annoying. Worried6 says, do you have Netflix? Yes, I do. My brother has it, at least. For Trevor G, Minus One just came out in the UK yesterday. Lol. Yeah, it did just come out, so they're starting to open up more times for it, which is cool. Also, what I heard about Godzilla in this movie is when you watch the trailer, his roar sounds like such horrible quality, like very distorted. And what I found out is I read an interview, I think it was from one of the crew members that made the movie, or it was the director, I can't remember. They said what they did is they didn't even record new sound effects for the Godzilla's roar. What they did is they just replayed the roar from his original 1954 film. They played it through some speakers, blasted it, and then just recorded that with the microphone and put it in the movie. That's what I heard they did with his roar. So, wow, that was just shocking. I was like, how could you not just have the sound effect in like your library of audio files or something? Toho must have like several backlogs and several different versions of Godzilla's roar. I'm sure they could have taken it, messed with the pitch, or just used that, but why record it off of that? That is just so weird. Batman's Gamer goes, that's what happens when you have a $15 million budget. Yeah, I don't buy that. You would still have... Toho created those Godzilla noises, so they should have it in their catalog, in their archives. To just say we'll play it off of like some speakers in the room and then just record that, that is not good. That makes no sense why they would do that. And the roar in the trailer sounded so distorted. It did not sound good. Angelo Gallo goes, that's just lazy. I don't even know what to call that. That's like a whole other level of just not caring is what it would seem like at face value. Even though the movie apparently has been so great, so they did care. So I don't know why with the roar they seem to care so little. Parker CS says, Godzilla vs. the Mind Flayer would make $1 billion. Lol. By the way, the Mind Flayer was scarier than Vecna in my opinion. Yeah, I could imagine. It was, in many ways. George Phillips goes, cheers, Trevor. Yeah, okay. What are your opinions on Godzilla vs. Kong, says the Logman. I've got a versus video where I go into full detail on that, so I'd recommend you watch my Godzilla vs. Kong versus... Oh, sorry. You mean Godzilla X Kong. Oh. See, I have this damn heart which is over here. It covers part of the questions that you ask. The trailer for Godzilla X Kong... I covered on my Patreon, so it's on there if you want to give that a look. Trevor Bristow says, by the way, you have to see it on the big screen. Me seeing this movie twice in the big screen got me Top Gun and Avatar vibes, lol. That's one problem, though, is on my theatre, the movie that's taking all the big screens, it was The Hunger Games, and then after that, it was Wonka, which came out. So Godzilla has been relegated to all the small screens. So yeah. Big Bash says the heart is also there for us as well. It is, and it kind of covers the chat here, but the heart, I'm using OBS Studio, and the heart really covers the text all the way. With on the YouTube chat, there's a little bit of a white glow around it, and it kind of gets away. It kind of stays away from the text mostly, but not with the one I'm using on the software I'm using. It literally is like sitting on top of it and covering it. Sell the Punisher to Universal. I don't even know. Did Universal make that second one, Punisher Warzone? Because if they did that, then they should not be getting nothing. Miles Adair, it's good to see you here, buddy. Which company do you put your trust with Godzilla? Warner Brothers or Toho? For me, I put the trust with Toho. You gotta say Toho because they're the original studios, but I've not really seen a Godzilla movie all the way through from them. I've seen a lot of footage from it, but I've never seen it all the way through. So this will be my first one properly watching it from beginning to end. So yeah. Which company do you put your... No, I've already read that. Am I the only one who wants to see a Godzilla vs. Gamera movie? Probably. Eric, read my comment on the Punisher. Didn't I just read a comment on the Punisher? Oh, there is yours. Eric, I heard that John Bernthal says that if Marvel turns him into a goofy, lighthearted comic relief Punisher, that he is not going to play the character anymore. Depends how desperate he is. They'll always say that, but if Marvel want to hire him, just give him more money, he'll say yes. Randinu says, what is the best Godzilla movie excluding Minus One? I would say Godzilla King of the Monsters. I really did like that. Godzilla 1998 versus Godzilla 2014 video possible? Well, Parker, I actually did consider that back in the day, but I didn't end up doing it. Maybe at some point, but at the same time... Maybe, at some point. But I've got other bigger fish to fry right now in terms of versus videos. I've got a 3-way Christmas versus video that I'm still working on, which I do plan to release during Christmas. Earlier, if you're a patron and you get early access to my versus videos. And then I got another versus video coming of Chicken Run. I've not seen Chicken Run 2 yet, but I'm going to, and then I'll do a versus video on it. Batman's Gamer, King Kong 2005 versus Godzilla 1998. Which do you prefer? King Kong 2005. George Phillips. Yen Ray, are you planning to make a video about Loki Season 2? No, I'm not. It's not out of the possibility. If I do see Loki Season 1 and I cover that, then yes, I would see Loki Season 2 and then cover that as well. King of the Monsters 2021. In regards to the Raw, the director wanted the Raw to be grounded as well. Apparently the volume from that distance would be as if the Raw was more of a distorted sound wave, so it was intentional. I can see what you mean, but I feel like there should be more sound design going on there rather than just what they ended up doing. That could just sound cheap. Did you like A Boy Called... Let me look at the question here. Did you like A Boy Called Christmas? Was just a bit boring for me. Is there a movie called A Boy Called Christmas? If there is, I've not seen it. Such an interesting name. A Boy Called Christmas. Loki, Francisco says, Loki sucks in terms of character agency and trying to elevate Kang above Thanos in just 6 episodes. Lol. Is that what they're trying to do? I feel like they've still not succeeded because people still don't seem to be talking about Kang like he's the next Thanos, aside from, Marvel saying that he is. Sony made Punisher Warzone. That's right, Parker. Who made the first Punisher then? I can't remember who did that one. Was it Columbia as well? George Phillips, is Kang out of the MCU yet? I don't know, but Forbes magazine was saying that Marvel should recast him or just get rid of him. Sony did the first one as well. Then why should you... Who says that Universal should get the Punisher? I don't know why they should get the Punisher. Batman's Gamer, I'm just playing Arkham Origins because of the holiday story it's taking place in. I hear they can't legally recast Kang. They can. Hollywood are known for having loopholes for situations like this, or something in the contract that says if something like this happens, they can get rid of them from the role. I mean, just look at what Hollywood did with Melissa Barrera, I said, when I made that whole live stream talking about it. They fired her just because she put on a post on Instagram. Compare that to what Jonathan Majors is being put on trial for. One is far worse than the other. The other one's not even bad. It's just what people do. They post this kind of stuff. And it was right what she posted. And they just said, we're going to fire you. And she says that they didn't even tell me. They didn't even contact me. She heard it from her co-star, Jenna Ortega, who then also quit in solidarity. So Hollywood have fired people for a heck of a lot less. They definitely have. The only thing I've heard is that with Jonathan Majors, there's evidence that works in his favor as well as against him. So that's why they haven't fired him yet. But you know, they shouldn't have fired Johnny Depp, but they did that, and they kept Amber. Warner Brothers kept Amber Heard. So studios are just messes. They are, really, they are. When they lose money, this is why I'm happy when they lose money at times. Yeah, Batman's Gamer, you got it right. They silenced Mark Ruffalo when he opened his mouth. And then the crazy Zionists out there were trying to say, oh, it's great that you've finally seen the error of your ways. Even though they all knew he was silenced. We all knew he was silenced. And they were acting like, oh, it's great that you've found that you were wrong and that you admitted it. And that you've seen the error of your ways. Now we can really focus on who the real enemy is. It's like, you guys really, that those people in Hollywood, they really do love, like, they really do love the idea of, like, feeding in to something that is staged or set up or a lie and acting like it's the truth. Like, that is the narrative. That is the real thing going on. It's like, no, it's just a false narrative that's being done. Anyway, didn't mean to go into that area, but in answer to your question, yeah, that's just, it doesn't matter. They can still fire they can still fire him, but they just haven't done it yet. I think they're still waiting to hear more about what Jonathan Majors' court case reveals. King of the Monsters 2021 says, by the way, if you listen to the original 54 Raw, it was already distorted since it was also recorded via microphone. You can pull it up on stream right now. I don't need to pull it up on stream because I remember how it sounds, but that was back in 1954. Since then, even Toho themselves have come up with more refined versions of that Raw, where they've done it with more clear microphones, and that's just something that happens. We're not in 1954 anymore. So I just think there's ways they could try to accomplish what they were trying to accomplish with Godzilla's Raw without resorting to just recording it off of a speaker. That's just so... I feel like that's something that's going to be on my mind as I'm watching and hearing him roar in the movie, but we'll see what happens. Parker CS, Taika's potential Star Wars movie will be cringe, but then again, it's not going to happen. Yeah, at this point, it ain't going to happen, isn't it? Both him and Zachary Levi, Taika Waititi and Zachary Levi, both were acting out and feeling like they could say what they wanted because it's like they both know they're not going to get the job they wanted or that job or whatever. So Gregory Johns goes, in my opinion, Minus One was the first time I genuinely cared about the humans that more than Godzilla himself. That's good. I've been hearing that kind of stuff. I've heard people say that when they move away, when they focus on Godzilla, people enjoy it, but when they focus on the humans, they don't get disappointed and say, hey, put the camera back on Godzilla. So I've heard that, so that's a great, great, great thing. I'm very glad about that. Because like I said, the characters has always been a problem to me. I'm going to ask, kindly ask one of you again, if anyone wants to do a super chat, please try to do it through Streamlabs. At least once in this live stream, I want it to be done just so I can see if it works. And if it works, I can keep, I can find ways to really like jazz it up and make it look even cooler. Like on live streams, I'm looking into doing stuff like how on live streams it will show how much people have donated on the screen itself on this video that you're seeing. Like below me, you'll have like an area that says this person's donated this much. But in order to do that, I first need to see if it works. King of the Monster says he'll be the sacrifice. Lol. Thanks very much. It can be $1. You don't have to go splash out or anything. But if it's $1, I just want to see. I want to see if it works. If it works, then good. I can move it forward. If it doesn't work, I'll need to try to fix it. And if it's not done even once, I don't even know where I am with it. So I've done my test. Another person has done the test. Adam Grunther goes, I tried with Streamlabs. I'm just having trouble. What is the trouble? That's what I want to know. I want to troubleshoot all of that trouble. And if it works, it will be very good because it means YouTube won't take a percentage from it. Jess goes, sorry, Eric, my... I live in the streams. Oh, I live in the streets. I was like, what does I live in the streams mean when you said that? No, I live in the streets, so I can't. That's okay. If you can't do it, don't feel like you have to. I'm just asking if there's anyone that was going to do it anyway, you know, if you just do it through there, that would be very good because I could see if it would work. Because that way, because I am trying to make these live streams better. Something that you guys might not know, but I've been looking into how to make the live streams sound more interactive. So when you guys start speaking or doing your live chats, I'm trying to find a name to put all your I'm trying to find a way to put all your names on the screen. So whenever someone donates, you'll be able to visibly see their name and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to find all these new bells and whistles, but it's tricky. So the first thing I'm doing is trying with Streamlabs, which is what I'm using. King of the Monster says it doesn't work, Eric. Why doesn't it work? What is it saying? That's what I need to know. I can't press on the button. What button? Let me... You click on Streamlabs on the chat. Did you manage to click that? It says, are you sure you want to leave YouTube? And then you say, go to site. And then it says... It'll tell you to donate, and it'll have like these buttons. It'll have $1, $3, $5, and $10. If you just click $1, you can put your message there. So if you have a question, you can write the question, and I'll be able to read it on the stream, and then you just press donate. And then it should work. So have you tried that? I can't press on the button. Did you put the donate amount in, the $1? Batman's Gamer says, I did do it. Oh, that's good. Oh, Adam Grunt says, I just donated. Hopefully it will work this time. That is great. So some of you are able to do it, because the last times I've tried this, it's not worked at all. So if some of you have been able to, that is going to be fantastic. There it is, right there. Okay, that's 2 of you. So I've got an Adam Grunther here. And I've got Batman's Gamer. I like that you put your usernames here for me to see. So, Batman's Gamer, thank you very much. And Adam Grunther, thank you very much. Wee, says Batman's Gamer. King of the Monster says, I'm doing right now. That's good. I'll refresh the page and see if it works. Because if it works, this is step 1. And that's great for step 1 because it means I can then have your names like flash on the screen every time you do it in real time. So, Adam Grunther, it worked. I'll read your question in a second. Let me just wait for King of the Monsters 2021, who says that he's doing it as well. Batman's Gamer, as Cyborg says, booyah. Indeed. That's kind of a relief to me because I've tried to go through 2 different setups of this in the past using PayPal and stuff, and it just wouldn't work. Let me see if it goes through, because it says it's there, but I didn't get a ring on my phone. Oh, there we go. Now the ring is coming from my phone. The sound's cutting out. Which sound? My microphone. How does that sound now? Does that sound better? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear? Yes, you can. That's great. George Phillips says, yep. How about the rest of you? Can you all hear me? Adam Grunther says, my mic is off. One person says, what the actual F? Just recording it off of a microphone. Back before, you know, answer to your question, yeah, it's just like as messes they are, really they are. Would they lose money? Hold on a second, I'm trying to fix it. Work. Let me see if it goes through. Cutting out. Which sound? My microphone. As you can tell, yes, Adam Grunther says your mic is off. Can you hear me now, Adam Grunther? Batman's Gamer, yeah, what the actual F? Yes, yep. A lot of you can hear me. The sound keeps cutting out. Still no, Eric. No, it's just... It is not just you, George. For me, too. Stuttering a bit, wow. It's a bit laggy. Okay. Let's see. Is it working again now? Rejoin the live. Okay, I'm gonna try to stop streaming, then I'll stream again, okay? So, bear with me. Stay here. Okay, how about now? Can you guys hear me? Okay. George Phillips says I can hear. No says I can. You can all hear me now, can you? I've already left and rejoined. Adam Grunther says it's still cutting. That is bizarre. Oh no, it's happening again. Every time you rejoin, it works again. You can hear the tap. That's good. Now it works. You can hear me. Because I was testing it on my end. It was working fine, which was... You can see I'm just looking at it on my phone. I'm just listening. Is there an echo now? I'm just listening. Is there an echo now? It can't be due to the Streamlabs thing, because that's a completely separate system. Yeah, the small echo was because I was having it live on my phone as well. Yeah, but it can't be the Streamlabs thing. That makes no sense because that's a completely separate system. For you, the audio is clear now. I'm not getting any issues. Okay, everyone. Last time, let's just tell me if you're not getting any issues or if you're getting any issues or not. Audio is good for now, is what Adam Grunther says. I'm not getting any issues, says Arathon99. Think we're good now? You've all good. That's great. The issue has been resolved. But anyway, let's continue where we left off. So, King of the Monsters 2021, I think I've got yours. A lot of you saying no issues. That's great. We've got it all sorted again then. That's very good. So, let's restart what I was talking about. So, there's 3 Super Chats I got. Each $1 Super Chats from you guys. So, that's good. That's good. It's come through. And that means all of your donation has come to me. None of it has gone to YouTube, which is great. That's a very good thing to know. That is very good. So, thank you guys very much for doing that test for me. I really do appreciate that. And I Prank My Teacher. Watch Venom 2. It's good. Venom 2 is good. Venom 2 is good. It's really not good. But yeah, it's come in from King of the Monsters 2021. Ian Choi. It's not come in from a couple of you other guys yet, but maybe that will take a bit to come through. But it is definitely cataloged on the Streamlabs website. So that means it's worked, and I've got your questions here as well. So I'll start reading your questions right now. So Adam Grunther says on your super chat, Which version of the DC villain thinker did you like more? Neil Sandilands in The Flash or Peter Capaldi in The Suicide Squad? I hope I said the first guy's name right. I liked Neil in The Flash so much better. In fact, that was one of the things I was annoyed about. That was one of the things that I was really annoyed about with The Suicide Squad, because I was thinking, damn, this is... James Gunn has come in. DC are meant to have at least, you know, some really good villains, and with the Flash shows, the first 3 seasons, and the 4th season, I would say, you could tell they were putting effort in to make these great villains. But I feel like James Gunn just didn't care. He just made him such a generic villain in The Suicide Squad. It really could have been anyone in that film. I don't know why they wasted the Thinker in that. And I really did not like that. I didn't like how... just such a nothing character he was. No one's going to remember him. The character in The Flash Season 4, that is someone that if you bring him up, people are going to remember things about him. He's not like an all-time great or anything, but he was a lot better than the villain we got in James Gunn's version. So I really did not like that villain. I thought he was such a throwaway, which is such a shame. So yeah. And then we've got a super chat from King of the Monsters 2021. You said you watched certain clips of the Toho Godzilla movies. What was your favorite King of the Monsters? What was your favorite clip that you watched? My favorite clip that I watched is actually one which is kind of a backhander to a character that I really don't mind. And that is, was it Godzilla, the 2004 one that had a crazy long title? I'm actually going to look that title up because that was a funny ass title that was. Let's see. The movie was called... Oh no, this one actually had a smaller title. It wasn't a very long title. This was Godzilla Final Wars is what it was, wasn't it? Where they said that the Godzilla from the 1998 movie was not Godzilla. That was Zilla. It was like a lesser Godzilla. And then you actually see the Toho Godzilla use his beam and basically wipe out the 1998 Godzilla in a match that was over as soon as it started. That was funny. That was Toho's way of attacking that 1998 movie. And that was a scene which is my favorite scene, I would say. Let's see. What was it? Adam Grundle left a question about Peter. Yeah, I thought Peter Capaldi was good for what he had. There's actually a deleted scene where he tries to manipulate Polka Dot Man into letting him go, and it's actually a creepy scene at first. Really? I would actually like to see that. I didn't even know there was that kind of deleted scene. I'll give that a watch, actually. And give it a look. In fact, I'll probably do a reaction of it and post it up on my Patreon now that you mentioned it. And you are a patron on that higher tier, so I'll do that because you asked. I mean, because you told me about it, and also because I want to also give you an extra thanks for doing that on the super chat right there. That was very kind. You've been supporting me for a long time on Patreon, like for as long as I can remember. So sometimes you just want to do nice things for you guys whenever I can. So everyone will get their turn at some point. Let's see. Jess says, "Hey Eric, I'm back. I had a few problems with your stream on my tablet, but I got it fixed." That's good to know. Now you guys make me think that. Now you're making me think, did that super chat cause a problem? It shouldn't be. Because like I said, it's a completely separate system. It would make no sense. It has to be some sort of coincidence. It has to be. Let me see. Your appreciation is enough for me, man. There's Batman's gamer. I really do appreciate that. So there you go. I really appreciate it. George Phillips. Sorry, I've not answered this question, but quite a few were going by. I know I've missed this about twice. Yo, Eric, have you ever thought about using those YouTube post things so we can vote things like what movie's better, what is the better movie of the year, and so on? I think it would be cool. I have thought about doing that, but my mind is not really that clicked in where I'm like, yeah, which movie should I face off against each other and all that. I probably will, though. You've actually got a good idea there. I'll try to do something like that, like some kind of poll or something like that. I am trying to eventually develop something with the $2 perk on Patreon where you'll be able to vote for what you think of the versus video that I'm doing and everything, and then you'll say how many people liked this movie that I'm doing a versus video with, how many of you thought this movie was better or this movie was better, and which one do you think should win the versus? I was thinking of doing that on the $2 Patreon perk at first, but it's an idea I've not developed yet fully. But that was something I was also thinking about. George Phillips says, thanks, Eric. Yeah, no problem. Arathorn999, will you do Gremlins 1 versus Gremlins 2 versus video? At some point I could, but again, like I said, I've got bigger fish to fry right now. Yen Rai says, do you think Gareth Edwards can make a better Thor movie than Taika Waititi, or do you have better recommendation for the director for Thor 4? Gareth Edwards, there's just something very boring about his directing style. He is a talented director, but ever since his first movie, that Monsters he did, then Godzilla 2014, he's very good at directing, but he's not very good, I'd say, with actors. I hear he is better in the movie The Creator, but even that, looking at it, I was thinking it was quite boring, and especially Denzel Washington's son, John David Washington, he's someone that just completely lacks charisma in everything I've seen him in, even in Tenet as well. So I really do think... So, for some reason, Gareth Edwards wanted to get an actor that does not have much charisma to play a role in a movie where the director doesn't normally direct his actors enough to allow them to show charisma. I was like, man, that is one of the worst casting choices for that director. One of the worst pairings. And from what I've heard, he is quite dull in that movie. George Phillips says, what are your opinions on Solo? I've never seen Solo. To this day, I've still not seen it. That's where a lot of us were like having a falling out with Star Wars, where we were like, we're not going to watch Solo in the theatre. And I didn't. And a lot of people didn't as well. Instead, I saw Deadpool 2. And Solo bombed at the box office. The first Star Wars movie to bomb under Disney's regime, which was very telling. And then they got the first MCU movies to bomb as well, and also under the Disney's regime. So yeah. But yeah, I've not seen Solo for those reasons. Has anyone done the super chat more than once? It's not letting me do it twice. Is that happening on anyone else's end? Do you mean the super chat on? Do you mean the super chat through YouTube or through Streamlabs? On Streamlabs, it's not allowing you to do it more than once. That is bizarre. Are you on your phone or your computer? Eric, are the Marvel movies from the Russo brothers taking risks or playing it safe? They were taking risks, but I think they were also playing it safe in many ways too. Batman's Game is you're saying you're doing it on your phone. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see what happens if I do it on my phone, because I already donated to myself recently, so this is basically me just seeing if it'll allow me to do it again. Because Streamlabs is a very official way that a lot of people have used. It does seem to let me too. Oh. Did you fill in the boxes, the text boxes? Fill in the text boxes on both and see if that does it. The text boxes on both where it says, you know, your username and then your message to me. And it should try to do it again. King of the Monsters says it lets me do it again. Yeah, and I got yours immediately. Because I'm still waiting from some of the other ones. Like Adam Grunther, yours is... I'm still waiting for the email to come through. Yeah, it lets you do it again. Let me take a look here. Yeah, it looks like they're starting to come in. Like, it says it late, but it's like they're starting to come in. What the $1 super chats from you guys. Which is good. I'm glad that you're trying to use this system, because this is the best system to use for this kind of thing. Better than YouTube's. And eventually I'm going to find a way to actually integrate it into the video. So every time you do the donation here, I will always see it. And you guys will all see it on the video too. It will automatically be synced. Yeah, your guys' other donations have gone through, which is good. It's very good. It's working, which is good, because before PayPal wasn't working. Let's see. Batman's Gamer, has it continued to work? Let me try again. Give me a sec, is what you said. Okay, I'll give you some time. So I'll continue answering questions. Which movie do you prefer, Batman vs Superman or Godzilla vs Kong? That is a very good question, Rohan. Because both are problematic movies, but they both... I would say Godzilla vs. Kong, because I think the Godzilla vs. Kong part was done better than the Batman vs. Superman part. But for the rest of the movie, I would say Batman vs. Superman. Like, if you're talking about characters and everything, I'll say Batman vs. Superman. But in terms of the action, what you're actually... or the name of the movie that you've come for, Batman vs. Superman, Godzilla vs. Kong did that better. Prank my teacher? Yeah, please stop spamming. I can see you are spamming a lot now. This is... Like I said, I don't like banning people on these streams. I never want to do that. But if you do that again, I actually will ban you now. Because now you're... I've been very kind to you, but I feel like you're taking advantage of my leniency. And I don't appreciate that. King of the Monsters? Yes, I was just waiting for Batman's Gamer, but that's okay. Let me refresh the page and get the answer done. I was just troubleshooting at the same time, so forgive me. I'll answer your question. Okay. That was 4 minutes ago. I apologize for the delay. Okay, let's see. Batman's Gamer says, I did it. That's great. Why wasn't it working the first time? Do you have any idea? Did you not fill in a certain section or something? Or was it just being weird and then all of a sudden it did work? Because I'd be very curious to know. King of the Monsters 2021 says, that clip or clips are from 2 movies. The long title one was 2001's Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. That is the one. That is the one that is so long, but one of the best titles. Or GMK for short. They actually called it GMK for short. The one where Godzilla destroyed 1998 Godzilla was 2004's Final Wars, but GMK did mention it. All right. Oh, that's interesting. That is. Okay, cool. Thanks for that information there. You clear that up, because it didn't come to me there in such a long title. So of course I was like, yeah, it didn't. But yeah, thanks again, King of the Monster 2021. I really appreciate it. You're always donating to me on Patreon, and you're donating here. My appreciation for you and for all of you, it never ceases to end. I always appreciate every single one of you, especially when you're donating me twice, multiple times, live stream and Patreon. You guys are just too nice to me. You really are. Jess says, Eric, ban him, please. It's getting annoying. What, is he still spamming? Whoa. I am the villain of the Eric Carter YouTube channel. Befeel my wrath soon. Give me a second here, guys, before I continue. Okay, I'm actually going to put you in a timeout. I pranked my teacher. Because you've been doing so many of those, I'm putting you in a timeout. So I'm going to give you that as a warning. Next time, I will ban you if you try to do that. So, sorry, but that's... If it was anyone else, they would have banned you instantly. I get you a timeout, so that'll be your last chance. He is gone. Thank you, Eric. Oh yeah, ban him already. I've not banned him yet, so it shows that I'm still willing to forgive. I'm not just going to kick you out, but please do not do that. I allow you to spam like 3 times because I know the feeling of wanting to join a live stream and get your question answered, but I feel like you were just kind of misbehaving a bit, so I've banned you for 24 hours. The next live stream I do, you can come back on, but please don't spam again, okay? I don't like banning people. Okay. Let me go back and check up on where I was, because the questions have gone from mine as well. It's not put me in that same spot. Okay, there we go. Now I'm back to where I was. Batman's Gamer says twice now. Yeah, you've donated twice now. What's your favorite movie theater snacks at the chili dog vendor? It usually is popcorn or something, but the thing is, I don't have popcorn or anything while watching movies anymore, because when I was younger and I watched The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring with my dad, I had a big bottle of Pepsi, like with a straw, and I had popcorn, and I had to go to the bathroom so many times. Even as a kid, I was like about 6. I felt sorry for my dad that I was asking him to take me to the bathroom constantly, but I got desperate so much. And it made me realize, yeah, never drink like fizzy drinks or any kind of drink while you're watching a movie, and have popcorn, because popcorn makes you thirsty, it makes you want to drink. So ever since that, I learned a hard lesson. My dad just found it funny, but I learned a hard lesson where I was like, no, never again. I do it more now, here and there, but that's only if I can get it on, like, you know, a deal or something. Like, because when you buy cinema tickets, you get points on if you're a member of your theater, and then I'll probably do something, but usually I try not to. But when I saw Saw 10, when I saw Saw 10, I actually had something free which they gave me, because I actually was watching a lot of movies there. They allowed you to watch a free movie and get like a free combo or something. So I had nachos with cheese, and I think it had was it a bit of chili on it or something? I can't remember, but that was nice. I really did enjoy that. I very much enjoyed that. But it's just not worth the price they charge you for it. Okay. Now let's go scroll through. Orangutan. Hey Eric, you banned this spammer. Yeah, I've not banned him, but I've suspended him for 24 hours. A lot of you seem to be relieved once I did that. King of the Monster says, for the record, I'm 15. And you're you've been one of my top donators though, and you're 15. Seriously, dude, you didn't have to do that, but thank you very much. Really appreciate all of that. George Phillips says, does anyone else want Marvel not to make movies for a few years after Secret Wars? Yeah, I said they shouldn't have made movies for 5 years after Avengers Endgame, and then look at what they've done. Jess says, thank the Lord, Eric. Thank the Lord, Eric. Hooray. Hip hip hooray. A lot of you seem to be relieved. Let me double check and see if, because I think I did have another. Oh, Batman's Gamer says that I added @ in my username when it doesn't work when using it, not the Batman Gamer's username. Oh, so when you added @ that was what was causing it to not put your donation in. That's interesting. Thank you very much for troubleshooting this with me. Yeah, I know normally that's not something that people want to do on live streams, but the fact that you guys did it means I won't have to do it on the next countless live streams now that we've done it in this one. So thank you very much for that. Alec Barton, I've not seen Kung Fu Panda trailer yet, so I can't give you my thoughts on it, but it will be on my Patreon when I do. I've just been so busy, it's unbelievable. Rohan said a very interesting question. What's your favorite food to eat after your live stream? That's a very good question, because I actually have been having the same thing after each of my live streams, which is I go to a takeout place. I don't go there, I order from there, because my throat is usually completely sore and just done when I'm at the end of a live stream, and I'm tired usually, and then add to that the hunger. What I usually do is I'll go to the shop. It's called what was it called? Oh, something. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. But I go to a takeout place, and I order. They have a mixed grill, basically, which is basically chicken tikka and chicken sheesh. Not chicken sheesh, it's chicken tikka and sheesh on a naan, and I have a mint and chili on it with lettuce, which I like a lot. And yeah, I have that. And that's what I usually have. And they make it very spicy, so I always have a mint pot with me too. And for some reason, I always feel like having that whenever I'm finished with a live stream. So yeah, that's what I usually have after a stream. That's my favorite food to have after a stream. Oh damn, it's just jumped all the way down. There's questions, let's see. Jess says, I will only watch Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars if the Russo brothers are directing it. Yeah, I very much would want to see it that way too. Hey, please watch Loki. I'm begging you, please. A lot of you do want me to watch Loki, I know. But the amount of editing work that has to go into making it, it will just take away from these other projects that I have to do. I mean, you guys have realized how it's taken me like about... Are we approaching 2 months in a couple of weeks? So about a month and a half right now. And I've been not uploading as much videos on my channel. It's because I've got 2 other videos that I wanted to work on, which I'm working on right now. A Spider-Man versus game can really throw off my schedule, because like I said, game versus videos are a lot harder. I've got a 3-way versus video, which I'm already editing right now. The voiceover is done, except for the intro. Actually, no, I've done the intro. Yeah, the voiceover is done. I've done it all. I'm editing the footage into it for the second movie. Then I've got to put in the footage for the third movie. Then I've got to animate my posters. I've got to animate my backgrounds. I've got to do all this stuff. I got to find the music, which is always the hardest thing to do. I got to make the video look a bit Christmassy in places, because that's also part of the thing. And then also those movies, I recorded my viewing experience of it, because I'm going to edit them and put them up on my Let's Watch channel. Not my Let's Watch channel, on my Let's Watch show on Patreon. So you get the versus videos here, but then you get the bonus content over there, and you see me watching the movies for the first time, and you see me taking notes for when I was going to talk about them on my versus video. So I've been having a lot of that to do, and that takes a lot of time. That's why it's taking longer. So I need to figure out how to speed up on this. Han Solo says, are you going to play Batman Arkham Trilogy? No, I'm not going to, because that's for the Nintendo Switch. I've been playing the Batman Arkham Trilogy, or Quadrilogy you could say, if you want to include Arkham Origins, on my Steam Deck. In fact, let's turn that on. Do you see that? This is Batman Arkham Knight. I've actually been playing this just recently because I've got a new profile on the PC version, because I completed it on PS4. So yeah, I've been playing Batman Arkham Knight on my Steam Deck. So yeah, I don't need the trilogy, because Arkham Knight does not play well at all. It's apparently unplayable by everyone. That's how they deem it. Unplayable on the Nintendo Switch. And yeah, I've been playing that on here. Arkham Origins I've already played. I've near the end of Arkham City on the Steam Deck. And yeah, so yeah, I've not been playing Arkham Trilogy on Switch. I've been playing, and I've had this on the Steam Deck for like 2 years now or something, 1.5 years, 2 years, and I just got the Steam Deck OLED, so I'm playing it on the OLED screen now. So yeah, it's really cool. Gregory Bronstein said, sorry, I missed a lot. What would be the top 4 on your letterbox? I said earlier, I've only come up with 2 movies on my top 4 list. I've not really thought of 3 and 4. When I've kept changing my mind, and I didn't know what to put on. So, first place, The Dark Knight. You guys all know that. And the second place is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That's my second favorite movie of all time. Jess says, Eric, what's your favorite fast food restaurant? I've been actually getting a liking to Popeyes recently. They're actually really nice. When they opened up here first, I didn't like it because they were just so oily. It was unbelievable. About a year later, I went in to give it to try it. I think I tried a wrap of theirs. A lot nicer. They've pulled back on the grease, and it's a lot nicer now. So Popeyes is becoming a new favorite place of mine, even though they do like to overcharge on basic things. Okay, continuing to read through your questions. Rohan says, I'm 15 too. Cool. It's interesting to know, because you could tell that I can tell that you guys are growing with me on this channel. Because how old was I when I started these versus videos? Was I 20 or something? Like, it was a long time ago. Will you do a Die Hard versus video? At some point I could. It's a good idea to do one. I've even thought of it before, but like I said, bigger fish to fry. But at some point. They need to bring back the Russo brothers? Yes, they do, but I think the Russo brothers can't even fix it at this point, because the Russo brothers were involved throughout, weren't they? Before, they had the Winter Soldier, and then they had Civil War, and then they could build it up to Infinity War and Endgame. but to just exclude the Russo brothers altogether and then say, here's the Kang Dynasty and here's Secret Wars, it's like, you can't just do that to them. They need to build up a story themselves, because they built up the Captain America story throughout with Winter Soldier and Civil War, and then it tied into Infinity War and Endgame. So yeah. Who do you think is better for Thor 4? Zack Snyder or Russo brothers, says Yen Rai. The Russo brothers, because they did very good with Thor in Infinity War and even Endgame. Parker says Secret Wars might not see the light of day. It will see the light of day, but they're taking a bloody long time to get it out, because they want to make sure they can get it right, because they know if they screw that up, especially because they have Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in there, they know they're going to be screwed. If they mess that up, there's no coming back from messing those up. King of the Monsters 2021 says, so yeah, Eric, I'm 15. At some point, unfortunately, I have to stop donating at Patreon to save money. That is not a problem. I'm surprised you've been donating to me as long as you have. You and Adam Grunther, and there's been others of you on Patreon as well. But you've been like donating to me and supporting me for so long. It's something I will never stop appreciating, your guys' support. So, like I said, if you can do it, then if you have the means to do it, then you can do it. But if you feel like you don't, or you just want to stop, that's entirely your prerogative. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop appreciating when you were supporting me. So that was something that I'll always appreciate. Let's see. No, says to Batman's Gamer, I don't understand. What don't you understand? What did Batman's Gamer say? The multiverse was like an excuse to bring back the previous Spider-Man actors. It was an excuse to bring back a lot of characters. It wasn't just the Spider-Man characters, because they're trying to bring Hugh Jackman in now, aren't they? And the X-Men, apparently. A lot of the X-Men in there. Yako the Fiery Muto did a $2 super chat. Thanks again very much for the super chat, buddy. I got out of the theater from seeing Minus One. Oh, did you watch it for the first time, or did you watch it before? I swear, were you the one that told me you've seen it before? Batman's Gamer, hashtag Captain Eric. That's a new one. I've never heard of that before. Now, let me see. I was going to do this, but I forgot. Was there another super chat from... Not super chat. Was there another Streamlabs donation? There was. I'm sorry. It was 15 minutes ago from one of you. I don't know if you... Batman's Gamer. It was Batman's Gamer. I don't know if... I see your real name here, too. I didn't know if you want me to say that, so I didn't. I'm sorry, Batman's Gamer, for taking so long responding to that. I kind of got distracted by the chat here. Rest assured that will not happen in the future. This is all... I've not set up any like notifications on the live stream itself or anything. And yeah, that was just clumsiness that I just missed that. So that one's on me. Don't worry, I'll see it the other times. Okay. Batman's Gamer's question is, when can we expect your Spider-Man versus video? I'm really excited for what you have to say. Well, I took a bit of a pause from doing that because I'm working on the Christmas special video. And that, of course, has to come out during Christmas. And then I'm also going to be working on the Chicken Run versus video, which I'm hoping will be much quicker to make. And then I'm going to continue working back on the Spider-Man versus video. So that's what is going on down there. Let's see. Oh, no says, oh, now I understand Batman's Gamer. That's good. Did he say something, or was it me? At Jess and She-Hulk twerking. I hate what the MCU did to Thor, Hulk, and Daredevil. And She-Hulk twerking. That's something I actually bring up in the versus video I'm working on right now, the Christmas special. You'll see which one it is. But I actually bring up the twerking of She-Hulk because it had a weird, strange connection here. Miles Adair, if you have to choose one movie, what would it be? It can't be the Dark Knight trilogy, Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes, Joker, The Batman, and Logan. I'm going to stop donating for a while to save money. That's okay. That's alright, Miles. That's okay. If you have to choose one movie, what would it be? And not any of these? I'm thinking of a family movie that I can just watch every time. But it's not coming to my head right now because there's so many others that are coming to my head. What was a family movie that I would watch? I was thinking of it a while back. I was like, yeah, that's something I could watch all the time. Which one was it? I will say Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That's a great one. But then there's Mrs. Doubtfire as well, which is also another great family movie I can watch all the time. Home Alone is another great one you can watch all the time. Jess says, Eric, please take over the MCU. You will be perfect. I don't know if I would be perfect, but if I could like take a producer role and basically say do this, this, I think I could do a better job than Kevin Feige right now. For one, I wouldn't be telling people that you must make your characters twerk and that you gotta do a boys versus girls message or whatever. You just point to comics and say, let's try to adapt this. Like, Secret Invasion to me was the biggest wasted opportunity. That should have been a whole phase leading to an Avengers movie. But instead they gave it to a cheap show, which was not so cheap. It cost more than most big budget movies these days. Batman's Gamer says, a teenage cultural activity in teenage girls and died a few years ago was adapted and used in She-Hulk. Activity in teenage girls. That's a bit broad. I would like to normally be more specific when I make comparisons like that. You've seen my versus videos. I'm always like pointing specifically to which, small aspect you're talking about. Batman's Gamer, now I know you're just either you're too kind or you actually believe this. Hashtag Eric take over the MCU. I'll do it. Is Chicken Run still DreamWorks? Was Chicken Run DreamWorks in the first place? It might have been. I don't know. Honestly, I'm quite surprised it came to Netflix. I thought it was going to go in theaters a long time ago. I think it was, but then Netflix bought it out. Rohan says, what do you think of Home Alone 2? I really like Home Alone 2. I do very much enjoy it. Let's see. Jack Nicholson Joker or Willem Dafoe Green Goblin? Both incredibly different. Both are great in the role, but I'll just say, well, Jack Nicholson is more iconic, I would say. I'll say Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, though. Because the relationship, I feel, was more fleshed out between him and Peter Parker. And Norman Osborn and Peter Parker, and how Harry and Peter were essentially, without even realizing it, kind of like competing in a way for Norman Osborn's love, although Peter wasn't, but essentially Harry was. So smart the writing was in that. How it all of a sudden became very, like, it felt like there was a battle between the two, and that was so well done. Batman's Gamer says, Jake would be mad donating if he was here, boys. He probably would, although I usually feel guilty when he does, because he does... I've said it before, his generosity knows no bounds. He just does it to such a crazy level, but it has definitely helped, though. I will say that. Any donations you guys do always helps. Alec Barton says, did you guys see the Switch version of Mortal Kombat? It was bad. Yeah, it was bad. It was very bad. Like, the loading, when you both pick your characters and then the characters both go like this, like on each other's arms, like then they say their line, it's supposed to be instant, but on the Switch it takes about 30 seconds and then they say their lines to each other, and then it takes a few more seconds, then they split, and then the fight starts to happen. It takes a long time to get into a battle. I've never seen a fight take that long. George Phillips says, I so wish I could donate. That's okay. No problem. Arathorn says, Jake did a face reveal on his channel. That is interesting. Jake did a 100 subscribers Q&A on his channel. And Eric, have you ever considered becoming a film director? He did a 100 subscribers Q&A. That's good. I'll check it out. Have you ever considered becoming a film director? Not really to that level. I was always like, I could imagine doing shorts, or I could imagine doing stuff like that. But to become a film director, when I was younger, of course you want to do that kind of stuff, but you think of all kinds of stuff. But when you take into account the politics of what goes on in Hollywood and all the stuff, I feel like I just want to stay away from that. Because I feel like you almost have to sell a piece of yourself to go down there. Let's see. Sony, please make Amazing Spider-Man 3 and the main villains need to be the Sinister Six. The Sinister Six as the main villains. I don't know. I feel like they'll just screw it up. So, the Spectacular Spider-Man show, though, did a good job with the Sinister Six when they were getting them all in, and the action scene, and then the black suit action scene with Spider-Man. That was much better. Much better than anything Sony, I think, can do. Batman's Gamer, $211.6 million budget for Secret Invasion. Yeah, it was insane. That costs more. That costs more than what the Batman cost. And the Batman's budget before the pandemic was supposed to be $150 million, but then when the pandemic happened, it went up to like $180 to $200 million, which is not much of a spike considering how much time they had to shut down its production. So that's actually pretty impressive. And compare the quality and the look and feel of that more grounded movie to Secret Invasion, which was also meant to be a more grounded movie. And Secret Invasion looks far worse, even though it had a much bigger budget. That is not good. Oh, look at that. I've got another donation from... is this another 2 donations? Man, from King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters 2021. Or as I know, on Patreon as... I don't know if you want me to use your name. But actually, I put it in the credits on my videos all the time, don't I? So, that's okay. Oh, I got Yako the Volcanic Muto also did a donation. Both. So yeah, I got 2 donations from you guys. This is actually kind of cool to see both of your names on here like this. It's just... It's cool. I'm seeing all of you. It's like your names are catalogued. Because on YouTube, your names are there, then they scroll away on the list. Here, I have the list of all of you here. It's like if I want, I can like contact you here. So it's cool. This is nice. All right, so Yako the Volcanic Muto just got out of the theater from seeing Godzilla Minus One a second time. I think it's now my new favorite movie. I love it to death. The second time, I've heard a lot of people say they're watching this movie multiple times, which is interesting. That is very impressive. How long is the length of this movie? I can't remember. I should take a look. But that's impressive that you want to watch that more than once. You're not the only one to have said that. On this channel, there's a few people that have said they've seen it more than once. That's why I get confused as to which ones of you have said it. That's great. That's making me excited. King of the Monsters 2021, thank you very much for the donation. He goes, final donation. I want your thoughts on these scrapped Godzilla ideas. Godzilla falls in love with a robot. He fights Adam West's Batman. He becomes pregnant. And he becomes pregnant and he shoots rainbows from his tail. I thought you were going to say from his arse. Yes, these are real ideas from 1957, 1967, 1979, and 2010 respectively. I thought you were making all this up. I didn't know it was actually real. Are these scrapped ideas? It'd be funny if they tried to do all these scrapped ideas all in one film. Because that would be like one of the most bizarre things ever. And No says, what the F? Oh, boy. You want to know my thoughts on these? I was thinking, what's the question here again? It's like, you want to know my thoughts on these? Dude, that's just insane. Would I watch it? Yeah, but that's just insane. That's a whole other level of just crazy. The Chill Dogs vendor said it best. He goes, they just gave DeviantArt so many ideas. That is true. They've done that. They actually have. Rowan's like, what the fuck? Orangutan. I would watch the Batman one, to be honest. I would too. It'd be interesting. Like, how is Batman going to help Godzilla? But this has to be back when they were in the costumes, the really cheap costumes. Rowan's like, holy shit, that's funny. Batman's Gamer. Disney is at it again. Lilo and Stitch live-action remake is in development, and they showed his design was awful. All CGI for his design. Have they showed Stitch? Let's take a look. Hey Eric, who do you prefer, Dave Filoni or Russo Brothers? Completely different, but I would say Dave Filoni because his storytelling is better if you watch the Clone Wars. Okay, let's take a look. Apparently they've shown a picture of live action Stitch. If they have, I'm going to put it on this live stream like I did with the Deadpool news last time. News. Hey, that's interesting news. Live action remake of Lilo and Stitch going straight to Disney Plus in June 2024. That's Disney throwing in the towel, because when you have a movie that most likely cost a lot when they put the money into this, them dumping it on the streaming service means they don't want it in theaters, because they don't want the publicity that comes with it. So put it on Disney Plus is a way of putting it somewhere and not calling it a complete loss. They did that with Wendy and Peter. Remember that Wendy and Peter movie that came out on Disney Plus? The budget for that was apparently 175 to 200 million. So it just basically shows that very little confidence. I was told there was an image, though. I'm looking for that image. I don't see no live action image. If his image was here, it would be all over the internet. I don't see it, so I don't think his image is here. Is in development, and they showed its design was awful. All CGI for his design. Batman's Gamer, did they show his design? Because I can't see it. All I've heard is it's coming out on Disney Plus. Because if that is here, I would actually put it up on this stream and we'd talk about it right now. Let's go to the Variety website, because the Hollywood Reporter and Variety, they would always cover this kind of stuff. Don't see it there. Let's go to the Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, I don't see that here. So I don't think that's happening. And it does say here, Jason Momoa says the future of Rockman films is not looking too good, which is interesting for him to say that before the movie comes out. Batman's Gamer says that doesn't sound real. What doesn't sound real? New Cool says, hey Eric, do you watch anime? If so, what is your favorite anime? Yeah, I've been watching anime ever since I was a kid. I used to watch Pokemon, I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh!, I watched Zoids, both versions of the show at the time. And I also watched Death Note. I've also watched Demon Slayer, which is something that me and my brothers watch, and we really enjoy it. And yeah, I'm open to watching more anime, but I've got other stuff to see as well, so yeah. Cosmic says, what are your thoughts on the God of War franchise, if you have played them? I've played God of War 1. God of War 2 I played about halfway through on the PS Vita, but then I couldn't complete it, and it was performing a bit laggy on the PS Vita at that point, so I was like, this is not really fun to play anymore. So I stopped. Then I played it on my Steam Deck, you can see right over here. I played God of War 2 for PS2 on that. About halfway through it, or a bit less than halfway through, that game just goes on forever. And unfortunately, my profile got lost as I was transferring files across to bring over to my new Steam Deck. So I lost my profile on God of War 2, so I got to play it again from the beginning. I'm just going to give up on God of War 2, most likely, until years later. Although I did play God of War 3 on my PS4 years ago, and I loved it. I really enjoyed that. The puzzles are stuff I'm not really into in God of War. They slow down the pacing, I think. But that was great. It was really bloody and huge boss battle, especially with that Titan, that big guy. That was amazing. And let's see, I've played about half of God of War 4 on my PS4, but then that game, I had it for a temporary period of time, and I had to give it back to the person who gave it to me. But then I had Spider-Man PS4 immediately at that point, so I started playing that, and it was amazing. I was happy. But yeah, I've not played Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok, because I still haven't finished the first God of War, and I got to get it again. I might do it on my Steam Deck and play it there. Who knows? What happened to 3-minute reviews, Eric? Says Alec Barton. I cancelled it because it wasn't doing well for me, unfortunately, so I had to stop it. But yeah, that's a show that a lot of people really enjoy. But don't worry, I've got another game show coming on my Patreon, which I'm developing, and that will start releasing at some point soon once I've finished the Christmas stuff versus videos and things. I'm going to try to get into that more. Batman's Gamer has done a $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that super chat. And I got another chat as well from Stream Elements. So let's just quickly read the Stream Elements one first, because I saw that come in first before I saw yours, Batman's Gamer, so I'll get to yours in a second. Yako, the Volcanic Muto, has donated another one through this. Thank you very much for donating through this. When you donate through this, all your donation goes to me, and none of it goes to YouTube, so it's much better to donate through this. Another donation, why not? It's the Christmas season. Yes, it is. Ho, ho, ho. And yes, Minus One is my new favorite movie. How are you doing lately? For me, I've also been working on both Yako 3 Echoes of Destiny whilst helping my friend with his Godzilla fan film. Ooh, a Godzilla fan film. Cool. Well, that's great to see if it's your new favorite movie. That's a whole level of, like, appreciation for the movie that I did not expect, so that's great. And how am I doing lately? I'm doing very good. I was a little nervous when this whole Stream Elements thing wasn't working. Streamlabs wasn't working, but the fact it is now, I can breathe easy, because I've had 2 other attempts at this. It was not working, so third time's a charm. It's finally working. I've also been working on the Yako 3 Echoes of Destiny. That's great. Curious to see how it looks in the end. Whilst helping my friend with his Godzilla fan film. Yeah, send me that Godzilla fan film when your guys are done. I'd like to see that. Can't see all of them because your videos are very long, like 50 minutes plus and everything. You got some shorter ones as well, but I have given them a look. They are very impressive. The fact that you make them all essentially out of just your computer and some voice, it's very impressive how you're able to do that. Very impressed. But yeah, so I feel like I answered though. Am I getting too good at answering these questions, or did I just do it not so good? That went by so quick. Thanks again for donating to me through this, through Streamlabs. I really appreciate that. Batman's Gamer says, I saw a YouTube poster of his design a day ago. You got to be careful about that, because some people come up with AI images, or they just come up with Photoshop jobs. You don't want to believe those. You want to find actual articles that clarify that, or if the studio themselves have done it, or if it's a reliable leak. Then you want to look and put, your faith in those. But I wouldn't put much credit in these types, because you just can't trust them, quite frankly. Let's see. But I'm sure, knowing Disney, it probably will not look good, and it just won't. I don't think it will work. Jess says, Eric, I just got my Wolverine and Spider-Man 2099 shirts as my early Christmas present. That is great. Oh damn, where has it gone? Oh, there it is. Wolverine and Spider-Man 2099. That's quite the combo. That is. Imagine seeing those two collaborate in a game or something. Jacinda, good to see you here, says, how do you feel about the DCEU movies bombing? You actually asked me this earlier, and I think I missed it. Or I didn't get to it in time, and then I lost it in the stream. It's because they're not relevant anymore, are they? Because people know that the DCU is going to start over. And James Gunn did pretty much announce that too. So, yeah, they're failing for that reason. Because people just want to start over, start fresh, and start with a bigger character rather than smaller characters like Blue Beetle and Shazam. And to many people, The Flash is still a smaller character too. We'll see what happens with Aquaman, but Warner Brothers kept in the abuser, didn't they? So people are still pissed off about that, myself included. So we'll see what happens with that, but I don't think it's going to do very good. Poor James Wan, though, but at the same time, he also kept her in as well. So they're learning now that they shouldn't keep her in for that, and they shouldn't have fired Johnny Depp when they did. That was disgusting. I'm sorry, I did not expect to get a little into that when I just started saying that. Got a bit into my rant there. Jess says, the MCU and DCEU was a bad year for them. Do you agree, Eric? Oh yeah, it was totally a bad year for them. The Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is the only one that made money this year from, the main universes. You also got the Spider-Verse movie. And the Spider-Verse movie was great. But aside from those two, yeah, comic book movies didn't do good this year. Invincible Season 2 is doing very good, though, apparently. George Phillips, Aquaman 2 is going to bomb even if it is Oscar-worthy. Do you think it's going to be Oscar-worthy? The first one should have been for its visual effects, but it bloody well wasn't. They put Black Panther up there instead for its visual effects, which everyone unanimously agreed was one of the worst elements of the movie. Okay. Cosmic says, what are your thoughts on Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon? It's not getting great reviews, which is quite disappointing because it looked really good. It looked interesting to me, but when I look at the posters that are coming out now, it looks like the old days of Zack Snyder when he would make some of those flashy movies that didn't really have much substance behind them. I feel like his later movies tried to have more substance behind them, but those earlier ones where he was more of the visuals guy, I feel like that's what this movie looks like when I'm looking at the posters and things. Cameron Shahid says, if Stitcher's design is that bad, we should do what happens to Sonic the Hedgehog's design if they listen. I would just say don't even bother. Because who's even going to watch it? We all know what these Disney remakes are like at this point, so yeah, if they make him look crap, they're not going to redo it. They're probably doing that with the dwarves, though, but I think at this point they just deserve to just suffer on that one because of what they did. George Phillips says Disney won't listen. They'll try listening now because they're in the doghouse. Look at the failure they've had this year, both on streaming and on movies. They've lost like billions this year. They have lost way over $1 billion with their movies, and then they've also lost way over $1 billion, maybe even more, with their streaming costs because they're not making money with Disney Plus, and they still have to keep putting money into it. So they're losing crap tons of money down there. Jess says, Eric, you should have hopes for Transformers 1, and I'm sure it will get the same same CGI as the Bumblebee movie. I hope it does, but it's got different voice actors, which I don't like, even for Optimus Prime. Alec Barton says, hey Eric, would you trust Disney DreamWorks with your movie? Oh, Disney or DreamWorks with your movie. It would be DreamWorks, wouldn't it? No one should ever trust Disney at this point. They've sold out, is what they have done. Thanks again, everyone, for the donations, by the way. I was just going through that list. I really appreciate all that. Which Hollywood studio do you hate the most? Disney, Warner Brothers, or Sony? Disney. Without a shadow of a doubt, Disney. They've single-handedly destroyed all of their divisions that were so incredibly popular, and their ignorance was having point the finger at the audience rather than point the finger at themselves. So it's like now they're learning a hard lesson, but it's not even a lesson they had to learn. They knew, they just didn't want to admit it. They do what all executives do. They want to pass the blame on to someone else and keep their jobs. That's what they always do, these Hollywood executive types. So yeah, but they, instead of pointing the finger at other executives, they started pointing the finger at us, the audience. And the audience has just had enough. That's why they're not showing up to Disney's movies, and they know what to expect from Disney's movies now as well. So, yeah. Jess says, hey, Eric, now Hasbro is getting a cinematic universe after Rise of the Beast post-credit scene. Are you excited about it? No, I'm not. I thought that was kind of stupid what they were doing. It's like it could be good a long time ago, but I feel like now people are just really seeing right through it. So, no, I thought it was kind of stupid. And the movie wasn't good enough for me to feel excited for it. No says, Captain Eric, what is your Captain Eric? Are you guys making that a meme, or are you making that take off? Because I have not even once pushed for that. Have I? I might have as a joke. I don't know. But I feel like I've not consciously pushed for that. I don't know how it's becoming a thing. Anyway, Captain Eric, what is your opinion on Michael Jackson? I know, a very random question. I didn't really have an opinion on him, really. He was coming around when I was very young, and even when I was young, I used to love movie soundtracks. But I still wasn't very much into songs. I would listen to songs, but I wasn't really into them. I used to like Bollywood songs too, because that used to be always played around in the house in my family, and when we'd go to friends or family's house, they would be playing them too. they got caught up in the hype of the moment, of the Shah Rukh Khan moment back in the early 2000s, I remember. So that is kind of like ingrained in my head. But still, I was always a person that loved movie soundtracks. And even back then, so Michael Jackson, I heard some of his stuff, but I wasn't a fan of him or anything. I didn't really know anything about him because the internet was not what it was as it is now as well. So, yeah. But yeah, I didn't really have much opinions of Michael Jackson. It is sad when he died the way he did, because his brothers, I remember one of his brothers was on Big Brother, that show, a long time ago. I felt bad for him because he seemed genuinely nice. And of course for the family, just any time a death happens, you always feel sad for people when that happens and the people they know. But no, I was never a fan to the point that I knew about him or anything. I didn't really know much about Michael Jackson, basically. That's the best way I can just basically say it, I think. Yako, I got us another chat from you from Streamlabs. Like I said, I'm getting good at this. I'm starting to track your super chats here. And all the donation amount goes to me, and none of it goes to YouTube. So like I said, it really does help and work. So thanks very much for donating to Streamlabs. I'm getting a lot of tests. And also, we're having a lot of tests with Streamlabs, and the audio has not been glitching out since. So it's not because of the donations. That's been just occurred to me. I was like, yeah, that's been proved now. So, okay, last donation, lol. Yeah, thank you again for all these donations. Yeah, I hope everyone else in the chat is doing well enough as well. Question is, have you seen Violent Night, the film from last year? And when Yako 3 Echoes of Destiny is finished, do you wish I give you the link through Patreon? Yeah, by all means. I can't guarantee I'll see the whole thing. Last time I said I saw about 10 minutes of one of them? I think I saw 10 minutes of one of them. So I saw a good amount, but your video was it over an hour or something? Or is it an hour and a half? I can't remember. I will try to watch some, but I can't watch all of it, though. I'm so far behind on stuff that I need to see. I still have to see Chicken Run 2 for the Versus video, and I've still got other videos, TV shows and stuff to see for my other videos, so I won't be able to see all of it, but yes, I will definitely give it a watch for a good bit of time. Yeah, so send me the link, by all means. I'll definitely take a look. And have I seen Violent Night? Yes, I have. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but I still enjoyed it. And the best part of the movie was the R-rated Home Alone scene that they were trying to do. Because the girl in that movie had just seen Home Alone for the first time, and she was trying to set traps, and these were violent traps. That was funny. Jess says, it's Eric Carter time. You guys sometimes. Rohan says, Eric, have you played Poppy Playtime? I actually haven't. Yakos, the Fiery Muto, goes, because clearly I'm the pinnacle of comedy / sarcasm. Well, I'll be looking in a mirror because I'm the same thing. Sometimes I can be. Orangutan says, Captain Eric. This really is turning into a thing, isn't it? Captain Eric, sir, do you agree with my take that selling your franchise to Disney is the equivalent of selling it to a 5-year-old, but a 5-year-old could probably do better making the film? No, I think it would be the equivalent of selling it to white slavers. Do you remember what George Lucas said about Disney? But, yeah, no, it would be far worse than your description, I think. You got a good description, but I'd say it's far worse. What is your... Aritra says, what is your favorite Studio Ghibli movie? I've actually not seen... a Studio Ghibli movie. I might have seen one without realizing. I'll have to look through and see which ones are which, but I actually haven't seen a Studio Ghibli movie, so sorry, but I can't point to one. Rohan's like, Eric Carton time. Yeah, if you want it to be. Cosmic, thus they said to you, don't end up like Prank My Teacher. What, is Cosmic spamming? That's okay. He says he misclicked. It's alright. He's not spamming that bad. He's got big breaks in between his messages. Cosmic says, what is your favorite video game and movie soundtrack? For me, video game would have to be either The Last of Us Part 1 or God of War Ragnarok. For movies, no idea. ATSV score is a banger, though. ATSV. I don't know what that is. What is your favorite video game movie soundtrack? My favorite video game is Unreal Tournament 1999. And it's a game I played as a kid. The first FPS shooter I ever played. Still play it to this day. I got it on my Steam Deck and I can play it portably, and now I can also play it preferably with a mouse and keyboard on the computer by connecting my Steam Deck to the computer. And Favorite, Oh no, I misread it. What is your favorite video game and movie soundtrack? I thought you meant what's your favorite video game first. My favorite video game and movie soundtrack. Favorite video game soundtrack would probably be one of the Arkham games. Maybe. I don't listen to the video game soundtrack. I listen to the odd bits of music from the video games, but the whole soundtrack, I don't normally have a whole soundtrack that I love in those games. Let me look at my iPod. Do I have... Yeah, the old iPod that I still use. Do I have any favorite video game? I don't think I would, you know. I got the Arkham series here. Yeah, I got no video game soundtracks here. Just all the Arkham games. So if I had to pick an Arkham soundtrack, I'd say either Arkham City or Arkham Origins. Origins had a lot of great tracks. I'll say Arkham Origins. Arkham City had a lot of great tracks though too. Punisher 2004 or Netflix Punisher? Punisher 2004, without a doubt. Love that movie. I've seen it so many times. And the other part of your question was movie soundtrack. My favorite movie soundtrack would probably be Star Wars, maybe. John Williams. Because he's done... There's just so endless that Star Wars music that he's done in the franchise. So I'd say that. Okay, we'll end the stream in 6 minutes, because then it will be 9 o'clock p.m. here in the UK where I am. Thor in God of War is better than the MCU comedic Thor. Yeah. Do you remember Hercules in God of War? Because in God of War 3, I sure remember Hercules. What you do to him, I was like, man, is this supposed to be like a childhood character that we would see in the Disney Hercules movie? Not to mention, he was more of a prick in that God of War 3 game. And the way you just take him out, it's like, man. Captain Eric, again, is still making a comeback here. I know I said 6 minutes. It might go on longer, knowing me, but let's see if I can stick to it. Eric, are allowed to swear on the chat? I'd prefer not, because I don't know what YouTube would do. I don't know if they're going to act weird about it. So you could say crap and stuff if you want, but probably best not to swear too much. You could do lower level cusses if you want to, though. Are you excited for the last Ronin video game, says the Chili Dog Vendor? Is that the Turtles video game? I hope so. Orangutan says, sorry for swearing. You didn't swear, though. You just asked for permission. You can ask permission, that's fine. Keep the stream PG friendly, Eric, and don't swear. Yeah. I always try to be careful because I don't think YouTube likes it when live streams. I can censor it in videos, but in live streams I don't think they'd like it. Orangutan says Captain Eric is a new meme, yeah, and Chili Dog Vendor goes, well, it kind of is, isn't it? But he's saying yes, it is to the Turtles game. Yes, I am looking forward to it. Leonardo, I think, is what it's based around, isn't it? And he's always been my favorite character. Depends on how they get the characterization of him down and everything, and it's just got to be a good game overall. So I'm very curious, but I'm also very reserved because I don't know. I think I saw something where I was like, I don't know if this will be good or not, but let's see. I'm really hoping it's great because I don't know if it's a PC game, but I would love to play it on my Steam Deck if it can play there. Comic Book King, how would you feel if the first Thor movie focused on a younger Thor going through different trials on Asgard in order to be worthy of his hammer and save his arrival on Earth for the Avengers? That would be another version of the story, a very different type. Yeah, all taking place in Asgard, yeah, I got no problem with that. Just so long as it looks good and doesn't look like it's green screen city. Captain Eric, I salute you. I salute you too, Rohan. If you played Arathon 999, if you have played Mortal Kombat, what are your thoughts on it? I played Mortal Kombat. First time I played Mortal Kombat was on the DS when they ported over the arcade game onto it. That game cheated, and it's been proven that it cheated. So it could get more coins from you back in the arcade machines. But then when I played it on the DS version. They ported it over the DS version. They did not sort out the difficulty thing on that. But my dad bought it and said that we'll enjoy it because he played it when he was younger. And we did have fun. I remember we did multiplayer with me and my brothers and sisters. That was more fun than playing against the cheating computer. And I've also played some 3D Mortal Kombat games. I reviewed Mortal Kombat for the PS Vita years ago. I can't remember if that was for 3-minute reviews or not. It probably wasn't. But I've already reviewed that. And I've also played Mortal Kombat XL on the PS4. And then I've got Mortal Kombat 11, was it? On the Steam Deck. But I don't like it as much because my favourite character, Kenshi, is not in it. He's apparently in Mortal Kombat 1 though, but I don't want to, you know, fork out the money to buy that game just yet. But hey, whenever I do, I could end up doing a video on my game show on Patreon. Who knows? Hey, Eric, did you watch the honest trailer review on Morbius? It was funny. I think I did, but it's a while back now. Orangutan. Oh, you said that shit earlier. You said I just tried to censor it myself as I said it. Let's hope it all goes good. But yeah, that's alright. So, you know now. It's okay. Is Mortal Kombat 11 good on Steam Deck? Yes, very good on Steam Deck. It plays at 60 frames per second, although I tried it on the previous Steam Deck. I wonder how it would perform on the Steam Deck OLED. Maybe 90 frames per second? Of course, you got to adjust your settings, but I remember I played it at 1080p on the monitor with my brother, and it was got a very stable 60 frames per second frame rate on 1080p as well, which the Steam Deck is not normally good with 1080p on games unless they're really old games. So the fact it was good on this was very good. Aritra, I think I answered this, didn't I? Are you excited for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Yes, I am. But I'm very cautious because Disney. And Furiosa coming out on the same day. Oh, they're coming out on the same day? I'd watch Planet of the Apes. I don't care about Furiosa, to be honest with you. Batman's Gamer says Thor 5 is said to have a darker tone. I think the violence in the Echo trailer is all the violence we get in the show coming in Echo. I'm a bet. Yeah, I bet that's all the violence we'll get too. They might have one other scene that they didn't show in the trailer, but then they always give you people so little, and then people like, see, look what Marvel did. They're really going places. It's like, no, they're not. Compare it to all these other R-rated projects and other R-rated Netflix shows of Marvel. They really took it to places, and people would so stupidly just say, look at that, Marvel did that one thing. Oh, they said that one bad word. They're really going in dark places that we didn't expect. It's like, come on, seriously. I expect better for you to than for you to just, you know, fall for Marvel like that. It's why Disney feel like they can get away with doing so little when it comes to the R ratings and stuff, or PG-13 ratings, because people give them leeway over it and, like, you know, celebrate when they just do one small thing. George Phillips says we gave Marvel too many chances. Well, yes, and DC has been given a lot of chances too. George Phillips says, okay, I'm going to download it. Injustice 2 is so good on Steam Deck. If you have it, download it, Eric. I haven't got Injustice 2, but I did play it on my... I have it on my PS4. I played it with that. Why did everyone go bonkers over the F word? Did they? Someone just asked if they could swear, and I just said probably best not to, because I don't know what YouTube is going to do if they're going to say your chat has got, you know, foul language or whatever. YouTube are weird when it comes to their censors. So it's best be on the safe side. I can always censor cussing on my videos, but not really on the live streams. Eric, Chris Pratt was fat in the Perks and Rec sitcom, and then when he joined the MCU, he lost weight, and he had to tone up. Even James Gunn said when they gave Chris Pratt's name, he didn't want him. He was like, the fat guy from Perks and Rec? That's actually what he said in an interview in front of, I think it was, in front of Chris Pratt. So yeah, even he didn't want to do it at the time. Okay, guys, it's been 7 minutes, not 6. I think it's about time I split now. It was great. It was great chatting to you. It really was. And we also did some troubleshooting live as well. So thank you very much for all your donations here, and thank you very much for your donations using Streamlabs. Because, like I said, it's very good to do the donations with Streamlabs. Kayla Monsters 2021. I think I did answer your question. Yeah. I did do your question. Did you? Which question was it that you did not hear me answer? You said, okay, no, that wasn't you. You said final donation is what you did, and I answered that. My thoughts on the Godzilla ideas? Was that the one? Thanks, Jess. I really appreciate it. I will enjoy it when I try it. Hopefully, if I am able to see it tomorrow. So take care. It's good to see you again. Um, let's see. Oh, you didn't hear it. I did answer it. I said the one that I would have liked the most would have been the Adam West Batman idea, fighting alongside, well, fighting Godzilla. That would have been more interesting to me. Bizarre, crazy ideas. But yeah, the part 2 in chat. Did you? If there's not super chats, I can't tell. It's hard to see. Part 2 of what Eric thinks of the scrapped Godzilla movie idea. Godzilla fights the 1954 Godzilla Ghost proposed in 1994, meant as a send-off to the Godzilla series. That would be interesting again. That would be. I don't know how they would pull it off with those old effects back in the day, but yeah. Anyway, it's time to close out the session now. Odile, did you just show up? We're literally the end of the live stream. I'm sorry, buddy, but don't worry. In a few days, there'll be another where I talk about Godzilla Minus One after I've seen it. So there'll be another live stream then. We can chat then. So be sure to stay tuned then. I'm so sorry you weren't able to see it, buddy. Anyone who wants to do donations through Streamlabs, you can do it, and I will also get hold of your. Basically, it will send your question to me, and I'll be able to answer it in the next live stream too. So that's also an option. And going down the line, that'll be the best way to do it. So that way, all your donation goes to me, and that's it. So, yeah, that's the best way to donate in future. I'm gonna try to use that more. Thank you guys very much as always for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch all of you in the next live stream. Take care. Captain Eric signing out.